Hello, and welcome to the third edition of The Royals, British Monarchy Part 3, from your friends at Delete Everything Podcast. On this episode, we'll discuss many things. The history of the Scottish monarchy in the northern part of the United Kingdom, the struggles between Lower England and Scotland, the many varied forms of buggery and cousin fucking inherent, botched executions, strange Italian lovers for some reason.
Hey, how you doing? It's me. Hey, I'm gonna fuck you real good, huh?
It is sure to be a very peeny vagini heavy episode. Please follow with us as we study the history of British monarchy.
I got a banger for your mash. Welcome back, everyone, to Delete Everything Podcast, our benevolent ruling class, doling out your weekly pittance of knowledge of the forgotten, omitted, partial, and deleted histories that you're all too busy farming yams or whatever to have ever learned about. I am your King Regent, Patrick Wall, and with me, as always, my mentally disabled court jester. Oh my God.
Riley Bowen.
Yes, and Stoolboy Drew Bowlby is in the dungeon this week for, I don't know, stool-related offenses.
In the buggery chamber.
Also, stool-related offenses could mean multiple things. He was throwing his stool. In this week's episode, we are celebrating President's Day by doing our third installment of the British royal families, and boy, is it fucking boring. Aside
We're
from
celebrating President's Day by completely ignoring the American presidency.
Exactly. It's
fun. I didn't know that was the gag, but that's a good gag.
Yeah,
I like
that. Yeah, aside from all the murdering and the cousin fucking, this is an absolute snooze fest. Before we jump in, though, very quick shout out to anyone and everyone who took a moment to leave a rating, review, or Spotify comment. You are our favorite subjects. And if you haven't done it yet, please get on whatever streaming platform you're on. Leave us 5 stars. Leave us a review on Apple Podcast and Audible, or leave us a comment on this episode on Spotify. We really love those. They help us out a bunch on the business side of this, and they cost you nothing but a couple of minutes. We would do it for you. While you're online, check us out on Instagram, Delete Everything Podcast, to see photos and random stuff of this episode or any other episode. Riley, you all caught up on Instagrams?
Sure.
Dude, are you 4 behind?
It'll be fine. Has anybody missed one? Have we missed any?
Drop us a follow. Drop us a follow while you're there. Check us out on YouTube, where we post lots of shorts of us dicking around the studio. Those are mostly from our Patreon episodes. And speaking of Patreon, why the hell not join us at patreon.com/deleteeverythingpodcast?
Join us.
It's $8. Nothing costs $8 anymore. And it gets you a back catalog of almost 70 episodes and new ones every single week. If you love the show, you'll definitely love our Patreon. So yeah, let's jump in, shall we?
You're going to love the way you look.
That's the new,
that's the new slogan.
Streamlined.
That's our thing,
yeah. That's our slogan. We made that up.
We made that. That's our new one.
Yeah. You're welcome. No, that's our new streamlined intro.
Yeah, when you're hearing your family.
Fast. That was, eating good in the neighborhood.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Patreon.com.
We have the meats.
We are farmers. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. So just to recap on our last episode on the British monarchy, we have a lot to run through on this. So I'm like going to be kind of moving at a rapid pace. So keep up. I
can do a quick recap. Last time on British monarchies. Ew, bother. Clash, sword fight, stab. Not the baby stab.
Oh, cousin, you're so girthy.
Oh, buggery. Oh, yes, my favorite. In the dungeon. There you go. That's pretty much all you got.
I've been thinking quite frequently of mating with my first cousin. Thank you.
They have no choice.
I am the king. I will fuck my cousin as it pleases me.
What do you mean God says no?
Then I I choose a different religion.
And away with God. Out of England, foul spirit. Fetch my codpiece.
Oh, God. Yeah, it is kind of a solid recap.
Yeah, there we go.
No, so our last episode, that was when we focused pretty much entirely on the House of Tudor, specifically Henry VIII.
Tudor barely nowhere.
Today we're going to cover some parallel shit. Okay, so the first Monarchy episode, we covered a ton. Remember that one?
Yeah. We covered like 1,000 years of history.
More than 1,000, I think. Specifically, it was wars and marriages between England and France, England and Scotland, England and Wales. We did a bunch in that episode. The second Monarchy episode, we brushed over a lot of that because Henry VIII was such an unapologetic poonhound that British conquest kind of took a back seat to, I guess, Henry VIII's goal of fucking every woman who worked for his various wives.
Yeah.
So,
and that was before he got gored by the boar, right? And then,
yes.
Then the Lannisters took over.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, you remember.
Yeah.
At the end of the portion about Henry, I did mention that there was a lot of stuff going on in Scotland during Henry's reign and well before that. So on this episode, we're going to catch up on the Scotland side, right? So we're going to get up to speed with what we've done in the first two episodes on the English side and discuss everything that was going on in Scotland for those whole two episodes.
Okay, so hold on a second. Because we already covered Scotland for the Braveheart period, and we're moving into the...
We didn't.
We didn't?
Not on this.
All right, okay then.
So we'll merge basically where we left off on the last British Monarchy episode. When we hit the end of this episode, we're hitting a merging point, right?
Okay, cool.
So hopefully that makes sense.
And it just pans over Scotland, the Highlands, Edinburgh Castle, William Wallace's mud hut in the background there.
So good news for you, by the way. We get to talk about some Macbeth and Braveheart shit today.
Fuck yeah! I just recently watched, not the Coen brothers, but I think Ethan or Joel Coen directed The Tragedy of Macbeth with Denzel Washington. Did you see that?
No.
Well, I know you don't need a big movie, but the fucking great rendition of Macbeth with Denzel Washington that I just recently watched. Mm-hmm. Man, if that motherfucker can make anything so quotable, it's crazy. It's great. Denzel Washington's delivery of Shakespeare is so good that it makes me like, fuck, I want that like tattooed on me.
Can I tell you, every time I think to myself, when is Riley going to stop asking me if I've seen these movies that I clearly haven't seen?
Dude, it's a tick.
But then I immediately think to myself, I hope Riley never stops asking me if I've seen these movies that I definitely haven't seen. Because it's a fun bit.
Well, it's more than a bit. It's actually how I talk to people always. Like, because I don't know if they're, I'd say I'm a little on the spectrum-y a little bit. If anybody that knows me probably.
Have you seen this movie? Have you seen this movie? It's my favorite movie.
I'm there somewhere. You know, there's a spectrum there definitely.
Because every single movie that you reference is, quote, one of your favorite movies.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm now forced to believe that every movie you've ever seen is one of your favorite movies.
Yeah, kind of. I know there are bad movies. I watched a movie yesterday.
Yeah, I know. We do a whole other podcast about it.
I watched a movie yesterday that I thought was bad, but I liked parts of it. You know, it happens.
Okay.
But then I also watched a movie yesterday that might be now one of my favorite movies. So, you know, I watched Sophie's Choice.
Oh my God. No, I have not. Dude, but I know
that movie unironically fucks like super hard. It was like this movie is amazing.
That's fun. Okay.
Anyway, hold on. What I was gonna say was that it's just like part of my like nomenclature because that's how I can relate. Not Sophie's Choice, but movies. Like, right. Have you seen this movie? It's how I relate.
It's part of your DNA.
It's how I relate like emotion to other people. It really is. Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm a little melancholy today. I'll say like, you know.
I'm a little like that scene in
yeah, like you know that part where the guy's standing there in the rain, like that's what I'm trying to convey. Yeah. You know, the imagery works perfectly in my mind.
I love it.
I'm like, you know that scene in Sophie's Choice where she fucking gives away one of her children to the Nazis? Not that bad. Oh, that's the choice. Close. If anyone spoilers for
if you haven't seen this, Jesus Christ, how old is that movie at this point?
It's like 1981,
yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Good flick.
Okay.
Meryl Streep's super hot.
We are going back to about where we started with the English side of the monarchy in the first part of our royals. You don't have to go back and listen to the first two episodes. It would help.
If history was like run, like instead of like humans like us, it was like great apes had become like the ruling class, you know, talking like orangutans, gorillas, chimpanzees, stuff like that. We'd call it the monkery instead of the monarchy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I did not like that joke. No, sir.
'Cause monkeys.
No, sir. Okay.
Be some sort of a kingdom of the planet
These
of the
are,
apes.
shut the fuck up.
Ape, not kill ape.
These are standalone episodes, but if you were to go back.
Now.
Jesus
Sorry.
Christ.
I'll stand alone.
But if you were to go and listen to the first 2 episodes of this series, it would.
You'd have a good time.
It would fit. They're funny. They are funny. It would fill in some of the blanks. You shouldn't have too many blanks. But anyway, we're going back to where we started in episode 1 of our Monarchy series, which is these clans sort of gaining and consolidating power in the wake of the Roman Empire packing up and leaving, right? So this whole episode specifically in Scotland, right? We've got the Picts, the Britons, and the Gaels, and they fight a whole bunch. Lots of wars, lots of battles, lots of your typical BS. And eventually we get a mostly unified Scotland under Kenneth MacAlpin, Kenneth the First. And this is in the mid 800s, right? He's the first guy who claims any sort of like king title. He was actually king of the Picts, but he conquered and consolidated. He was a Gael who conquered and consolidated the Pict tribes, assimilated them, and sort of fought to beat back the Britons, fought and beat back Viking incursions, stuff like that, right? After he becomes king of the Picts, the Pictish language and institutions pretty quickly disappeared. By the way, a huge reason for why he was able to conquer the Picts is that they were getting just constantly wrecked by Viking incursions. So Kenneth was able to come in, kill the Pictish leadership, fight back the Vikings, and loads of Gaels, which mostly were in like the western part of Scotland, started moving east from the Western Isles, like the Hebrides and all those, I don't know, super islandy, you know.
Yeah, if you're not super familiar with the topography of England and like northern England specifically, there are a fuckload of islands out there, and like we were a little surprised to see like islands in like the English Channel, which there are several.
Yeah,
but like if you get out towards like the fingers of northern England into fucking Scotland,
yeah,
there are hundreds of islands out there with separate cultures and shit like that in many respects.
The whole western side of Scotland is all islands, and then in the north there's also the Orkney Islands as well.
Not to put it too like Game of Thronesy, but like if you like in Game of Thrones, like the Iron Islands are based on
yeah,
that
100%.
exact area, because it was
100%.
literally like entire kingdoms and fucking castles and raiders and fucking tribes and all kinds of shit.
Yeah. So after Kenneth sort of assimilates the Picts and they all sort of become, I'm not going to say one unified people because that was not really the case until we get like way into this. But a ton of Gaels started moving east from the islands in the west because that area was also pretty regularly under attack from the Vikings.
It was like their favorite shit for a long time.
Yeah, and it's just rocky, swampy, boggy, like bad soil. You can't really grow much. So
one of the big traditions around those islands out there is like to harvest like fucking young seabirds, like thousands at a time. Like they still do it. Like they'll fucking men from islands will go out to areas that are like big habitats for those seabirds and like kill thousands of like young adolescent birds and like stack them in salt and fucking
interesting.
Yeah, and like they'll have like these towers of birds in salt. they become like a big weird like traditional resource.
I must go to the Tower of Birds. So I guess this episode we kind of have to do a Scottish accent, huh?
I can't really do a Scottish accent, unfortunately.
I
love you. I always have.
We must go to the Tower of Birds. Was that better?
Not bad.
It's not good.
Not bad. It's kind of mid-England.
Okay, anyway.
Hold on, I can do this. Look at this. Like Moses through the Red Sea. No, I'm trying to just do Braveheart quotes.
I just like saying like a random one-off like, don't do it! Like that's a really good thing that you can say in a Scottish. Don't do that! Okay, so by the way, the Picts never really organized and revolted against this assimilation. So like through all of this, you know, consolidation or whatever with Kenneth the First, he essentially founded Scotland, which they called Alba at the time in Gaelic, right?
Uh-huh.
And he was the person who basically puts this new dynasty together in his like 10 to 15 years of rule. It wasn't until a couple of people down the succession that the title King of Alba was used for the first time. His successors, by the way, were his brother, followed by his sons, which was a little out of the ordinary if we're going by the English model of, normally sons, even if they're quite literally babies, being the king before brothers. That's called, that's a term or a custom called primogeniture.
Yeah.
Right. But what Scotland used, or Alba at the time, which I'm going to kind of alternate between those terms, but what Scotland used is the custom of tanistry, right? So this is how the Scottish crown would pass to a successor. If you don't know what tanistry is, which why the fuck would you? It's basically an elected leader chosen way before the king or queen dies, right? And that person succeeds the throne once the leader passes the throne on, usually through death, right? This is pretty, at the time, used in Ireland, like Irish and Scottish tribes back then. So an heir was chosen before the vacancy, not after. And this ensured that the heir knew in advance that they would be the next ruler. And, it ensured that they weren't children. It also ensured that the crown stayed in the immediate family, as the rules dictated that the candidates had to be of age males at the time that were part of the king's extended family. So
also gave them time to, plot on the death of their
100%,
leader and
100%.
Set up some shady backroom deals.
Right. So say the king has two brothers, basically the brothers are in the running, their sons are in the running, and their basically that part of the extended family is all sort of in the running for being the next heir.
Yeah.
And the king knows who the heir is ahead of time. The heir knows that they're the next heir ahead of time. And in an ideal situation, that would be better than dying and saying, well, my 1-year-old son is now the king, ruled through these regents and noblemen.
Right.
But that's not the way they did it. So the thing about tanistry, once we fast forward about 100 years from the time of Kenny I,
you could say that, who the leader is going to be is really up in the air. HEIR.
Oh, I thought we were talking about like the Scottish Highlands.
No,
because they're up there.
What's that?
Elevation wise?
That Weezer song, In Dreams,
Only in dreams.
In the air. Between the molecules of oxygen, hydrogen
and carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide,
Yeah. That's a good song too.
No.
That's a really good song. Yeah, once we fast forward about 100 years from the time of Kenny I, there are a lot of, and this is the thing about tanistry, there are all these different branches of the House of Alpin, which is his house, that are warring pretty continuously and pretty violently.
Yeah.
So
it should be noted that the Scots have always traditionally been fucking mountain savages.
Don't do it!
Yeah, they're big burly fucks with giant ass swords that kill each other with rocks and shit. Like the Scots are
Kenny McAlpin, you are mine. Your throne will be mine.
I've come for you.
There can only be one.
There's the movie Rob Roy with, my guy, Darkman.
Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson plays like a regional chief in this movie, Rob Roy, that, gets embroiled in a bunch of shit, whatever. But the end of that movie is a sword fight where he fights Tim Roth, who's got this like fancy little, fencing sword. And Rob Roy cuts him in fucking half with a claymore. Just like, and it's this big, just like, clunk. It's like, but like that movie does this great dichotomy between the bouncy, light, little, Brit sophistry and the mountain savage that is a fucking Scotsman.
Yeah. The big, wild, bearded fucking...
Yeah, I mean, literally giants. We talked about how, one of the things, Hadrian's Wall was built, and a lot of the legend was that they went up to Scotland, like the Romans...
England, or to Ireland.
The Romans went up to Scotland.
Oh, it was Scotland?
Yeah, Romans went to Scotland and then retreated and came back, and they're like, no, they're giants. They're giants. We're not doing it. It's giants.
So from 942 CE to 1005 CE, there were 7 monarchs, which is a pretty wild stat in a matter of 53 years, one every 7.5 years.
That's a lot.
All 7 of them were either murdered or killed in battle. And I'm pretty sure that these are primarily battles with other branches of the family.
Yeah.
Right?
That would make sense.
So Scotland also, by this point, is a lot less unified than before under Kenny I, right? And honestly, no one really knows precisely how unified it even was under Kenny I. Right?
A lot of tribal just warfare in general. If anybody saw the 1980-something movie Highlander, you would know that there's a lot of infighting between Scottish tribes.
Yeah. The thought is now that really even Kenneth I...
1986.
Awesome. even Kenneth I sort of probably only had power consolidated in like the Northumberlands, so which is basically like the border between England and Scotland, where that is now. At the time, it was just the Northumberlands, just kind of, that's where civil British society kind of started getting a little more fucking wild mountain man. And as you go further north and further west into what's now modern day Scotland, it just gets crazier and crazier. And then suddenly you got Vikings in the mix, and it's wild shit. So,
I like this part of the world a lot, because that literally right there where that transition happens in the Umberlands, that's like where you get like werewolf legends and shit like that, where it's like the Scottish moors and fucking peat bogs and shit like that. It turns into more of like a mystical area.
Werewolves in London.
Yeah.
That's where they're.
No, they're not traditionally from there. They're from higher up.
They took a trip or something?
No,
like
even in an American Werewolf in London, he got transported down from the moors.
So, by the way, the Picts pretty much disappear into Gaelic culture. But there are still Britons in the south. There are Danes in the west, Vikings. And the Danes have essentially taken the Hebrides in the west, right? All those islands in like the west, northwest of Scotland.
The Danes were always clashing with the Cooks until they intermarried and produced comedy genius Dane Cook. Like he is eternal. He's like the Connor McLeod of that region.
I hate that joke so much.
Well, then it fits
so much.
It fits perfectly with the subject.
So there's just been like the same type of nonstop fighting that's been going on in England at this time, happening in Scotland. So in 1005 CE, Malcolm II manages to ascend to the throne after a whole shit ton of fighting and killing, and he surprisingly manages to keep his position as king for 29 years, mostly by continuing the fighting and killing, but he also decides to deviate from the culture a little bit, ignoring the Tannist culture and deciding that he wants to keep the crown in his direct line of succession. But he has no sons, so he marries his daughters off to rivals, which never really seems to work out the way these royals think that it's going to. But he's got a bunch of daughters.
They're going to like us a lot if we let them fuck our daughters.
Yeah, exactly. That's literally like the next line I wrote. They still want to kill you. Now they're just also fucking your daughter.
But then like it always seems to me like the situation goes from like the one guy's like, well, he'll probably like, think of me as family because he's, fucking my daughter. Then the other guy's like, I don't have any respect for that guy. I fuck his daughter.
Yeah. And she is dirty.
She's a dirty girl.
Both physically and sexually. Dirty girl. Bathing practices, you know what I mean?
Please.
Jesus Christ. So, at any rate, his eldest daughter had a boy, and when Malcolm II dies at the age of around 80, he was one of the only Scottish kings to like make it that long and die of old age. His grandson Duncan I takes the throne.
Duncan MacLeod? No, sorry. I'm thinking Connor MacLeod. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So Duncan I takes the throne. This is in 1034. 1234, Jesus. Yes. Malcolm II lived for 200 years. So
because he was the Highlander.
Yeah. They had to cut off his head. So no, he takes the throne in 1034 CE. Duncan I.
Duncan MacLeod is actually from the Highlander TV show. He was the cousin of Connor MacLeod.
Got you. Yeah. Okay. I knew there was a Duncan MacLeod. Anyway, Duncan I you may know from Shakespeare's Macbeth.
Oh, yes.
In the Shakespeare version, Duncan is an old fuck who Macbeth kills in his sleep. But that's not really how actual real life went. Duncan was a pretty young, sprightly chap. There are writings of him marching into battles. He was possibly the ruler at Strathclyde, which is in the west of Scotland during Malcolm's reign. So it kind of operated as like its own independent area.
Strathclyde.
For a while. Yeah. Strathclyde. But it was a stronghold previously. When the Gaels ruled in the west, that was like a stronghold there. Now we've got a kind of sort of unified Scotland, so he was ruling it as sort of like a noble in his grandfather's name when Malcolm was king of Alba, right? Macbeth was actually one of his dukes and rode into battle with him on numerous occasions before killing him in battle because,
some witches told him to.
What the fuck is going on, Scotland? So In 1039, 5 years into his reign, he rides south to besiege Durham, which is in England, and he loses pretty badly. A year later, he rides north to Moray. So Moray is kind of like in the north of Scotland before you get up into like the Orkney Islands. And Moray is...
when the moon hits your eye like a big piece of pie.
That is a Moray. Jesus. Oh my God. I like that joke.
Yeah, fucking got one.
So yeah, Moray's been kind of a sticky situation this whole time. Like I said, it's way north. There are tons of Viking incursions. The Vikings hold the Orkney Islands for the most part for a very long time. And they're coming down to the north of Scotland to that Moray area and just constant like Viking incursions. So the people of Moray are fucking tough. Right.
So, some hard weather shit. It's fucking cold as fuck up there too.
Yeah.
Fucking salt bitten and shit. That is like parts of the world that are like that are where you find like the hardest people.
Yeah. You know? Well, and this was Pictish territory before Kenneth I, and they never really fall in line. They don't really give a shit about a unified Scotland.
They probably give more of a shit about fucking salted birds and stuff.
Well, and they pretty successfully stay like an independent kingdom from Alba. And honestly, I think the Alban kings were fine with Moray being like a pretty solid buffer from any Viking incursions in the north. So it was like a situation where the Alban kings were like, yeah, they're part of us. And the Moray were like, nah, fuck you. And the Albans were like, sure thing. Just, keep it up there. Keep doing what you're doing. And things just stayed that way for a few hundred years. But
I thought the Alba area was ruled by a queen. Jessica?
Oh God, love her.
Jessica Alba?
Yeah, I know. We actually...
big fan.
Yeah, we share a birthday.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've said this on the podcast before. She's my soulmate.
Hey.
Born same day, same year.
Nice.
Jessica and I.
Jessica and I.
Yeah, once she abandons her husband and children and comes to me,
that's
then
the plan.
Then we'll live together.
Comes on you.
That's step 2 of the plan. So, like I said, this was a fine way to just sort of have things work out for a few hundred years, right? You're up there, you're a part of us. They're like, no, fuck you. And, like,
fuck you.
Fuck you, Albans. We're the Moray.
That's the Scottish accent I want to do. That's more like, fuck you.
That was good. That was really good. So Duncan goes down south to Durham, to England, loses real badly, then apparently is like, you know what? Enough is enough with these fucking Moray fuckers. And he marches up there for a battle. Well, this is where Macbeth is from. Mm-hmm. And they end up meeting in battle. And Duncan is killed. And Macbeth is like, I'm the king now.
I guess I'll be the king now.
Now, he does have a legitimate claim because these last 100 years or so, a little over 100 years that we've covered the Alban kingship, the crown is going back and forth between two clans. Clan Aeda, A-E-D-A, and Clan Chausantin, Chausantin, right? Kenneth MacAlpin, Kenneth I, was related to both. Clan Chausantin was in Moray and sort of like the last of the Pictish kings. And Kenneth might have been a big part of the reason him being related to these guys was probably why they assimilated without a lot of pushback, right? By the way, Duncan is roughly 38 when he's killed in battle by Macbeth. So yeah, Macbeth is king now. And there's not even really a ton of pushback on that, which is why, most historians tend to believe that he had a legitimate right to the throne. By the way, I'm sorry, that's kind of interesting actually then that Shakespeare would probably have all the information he needed to do this perfectly historically at this point. He decided to make him like a fucking stab a guy in the night, fucking covetous fuck. Old crazy fuck king.
Like there's some weird political reason for doing that, just making him like a fucking sneak thief, crazy fucking molded by witches guy. Yeah.
Well, by the way, also Macbeth might have also been Malcolm II's grandson.
Right.
Like Duncan, who he just killed in battle. So through a different one of Malcolm's daughters. So that means he just killed his cousin in battle. So, typical white people family shit. Macbeth ruled for 17 relatively peaceful years. Toward the end of his reign, he was invaded by the English. Remember, now we're going back to Monarchy 1, part 1, Edward the Confessor. He was toward the beginning of that episode He was the last of the House of Wessex. We started with Wessex real quick. Wessex was the only one of the English clans that wasn't taken by Vikings after the Romans left. I don't know if you remember this. There were like 5 big clans in England. 4 of the 5 got taken by Vikings. Wessex was the one that wasn't, and they kind of fought back the Vikings. And then that's where the first kings of England started. We're talking like Ethelstan type.
No, I get you.
Ago,
Yeah.
right?
No. That's like then they took over Castle Rock and they pushed in to get the Iron Throne. I remember this. Yeah.
So Edward the Confessor, if you recall, was the last of the House of Wessex, and he was a direct descendant of Ethelstan. Actually, he was the one who faced a bunch of challenges to the throne from the Godwinson family.
Okay,
who were like
that I
a
recall,
super
yeah.
wealthy English family, and he didn't have any heirs. So when he died, one of the Godwinsons claims the throne, and he gets fucking destroyed. And the Godwinsons only reigned for like 9 months before the House of Normandy takes the crown.
Sounded like you just said the Goblinsons.
The Goblinsons, the Godwinsons. He only reigned for 9 months. House of Normandy takes the crown. William the Conqueror, which was the first of the House of Normandy. And that's when England and France become super intertwined for a few hundred years. And that's a different episode. I just wanted to get you up on speed on where we are symmetrically with our previous episodes, right? Literally, we're like fucking 30 minutes into this episode, and we're caught up with like the first 10 minutes of Royals Part 1.
I mean, like, it is just fascinating to think about all of this shit happening on what is a relatively small island nation. But like at the same time, it being not heavily populated the way that it is now, like these are worlds apart. These are kingdoms apart.
Yeah.
Like, fucking to think of, Lower England ruling Northern Scotland it's like America ruling Alaska,
Right? Yeah.
But like,
I mean,
with horses.
It's that's part of it. Is if you're gonna go anywhere, especially if you're a wealthy noble, you got to hook up the carriage to the horses. You got to it's gonna take you a while. Now you can just hop on the interstate.
You gotta hook up the carriage to the horses.
Well, you have to have a guy.
You gotta have a guy with oats. You gotta have another guy.
You have to have a guy riding on the top of the carriage.
You gotta stop. You gotta pee.
Yeah,
the road's all muddy. You gotta have a guy with a wagon ton brake.
You're in a wooded
you
fucking
get dysentery.
Yeah, you're in a wooded trail. You have to have the guy sitting on top with the horse, looking back and forth between the trees because he heard a twig snap.
Right.
And then you have to be inside the carriage, and then you hear like. A struggle outside,
the werewolves.
And then you have to sit in there real quietly, looking back and forth and holding your sacks of money before before the
door opens and it's Robin Hood.
It's Robin Hood, exactly. You knew where I was going.
Welcome to Sherwood. Yeah.
The fucking 3-minute ride through Sherwood Forest because it's tiny. It's like 18 trees, and they're like, it's a forest.
Can we go around this fucking forest?
No, we must pass through the 3-minute forest. Okay, so Macbeth has this invasion from England where Edward the Confessor is on the throne, but the person invading is Earl Seward of Northumbria, which is that area right there at the border. He escaped in exile to England with his nephew Malcolm, son of Duncan, who was just killed by Macbeth.
So that's Malcolm
years ago.
Third at this point?
This would be Malcolm III.
Right. Mm-hmm. Which is funny because in this context,
we skipped Malcolm.
That would be
first.
Denzel Washington playing Macbeth in between Malcolm's second and third when previously he had played Malcolm X.
Who did?
Malcolm X?
Oh my God. Okay.
Sorry, I know that was tough. But I was not going to make that joke until you mentioned another Malcolm.
Yeah, this one's the third out of 4 that we talked. So this one's Malcolm in the middle.
Yeah. Motherfucker.
Okay. Fucking. Whew. Back on track. All right. So when Macbeth kills Duncan, this Earl escapes to England in exile with Duncan's nephew, Malcolm, and he goes back and invades basically to topple Macbeth and put his nephew, Macbeth's second cousin or first cousin once removed. I never remember how this shit works, but they're doing all of this with King Edward the Confessor's permission because we presume because Edward was probably cool with having like a puppet in his like puppet government in Scotland. So if he
that sounds
sort
fun.
of, he's backing this financially, then, he's got a pretty solid claim to be like, hey, do some things that I want. Right.
What I think about sometimes is like,
by the way, he's also navigating all these attacks like on his own throne. Like the Godwinsons were fighting the shit out of Edward the Confessor at this point.
When you see movies, TV shows, reenactments, whatever, of royals in this time period, always if there's like a small kid who's going to be king or prince or whatever, that kid is like really loves like knights and shit like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, yes, we're going to tilt against the straw man, playing swords and shit like that. So like I always think, I wonder if like there were any like people in Lower England who grew up like really liking the idea of like the Scottish fucking nut jobs up there with the big swords and be like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, I want to be a part of that.
Yeah, I mean, probably.
Yeah, so like I know it turned into a terrible subjugation thing, but like generally, like fucking yeah, I want the giants on my side would have been cool.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that's probably, especially the closer you are to that border.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like I said, it gets wilder and wilder the further up you go. But even near that border, those men were pretty fucking hard. They weren't little Ponzi Londoners. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, like I said,
it's like the Starks and the Karstarks.
Jesus Christ.
Because these are, I mean, George R.R. Martin is not a particularly creative writer.
No, it really is all this sort of like.
I keep saying these parallels because these are the parallels that he used.
Yeah, it is all the same shit that's going on in Game of Thrones. Is basically
the
just
whole
ripped
War
directly,
of the Roses, fucking
ripped directly from the British Isles.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Edward is financing this. He wants to have probably wants to have. I mean, we don't know for sure, but probably wants to have a puppet government in Scotland because he's also fighting the Godwinsons and other forces.
I'm the king. I'm the king.
So,
beep, bop, boop. Yes, my puppet government.
Yeah. Yeah, I got it.
Now we got to assassinate him.
So he's doing hand puppets, by the way. You guys can't see it.
Hand puppets on the radio.
Hand puppets on the radio. It's not the first time you've done it either. So
the other one beating the other one.
So Macbeth does lose a pretty significant battle in this invasion, and he is injured, but he makes it home. But he's also apparently proper fucked up because even though he doesn't die for another 3 years, which is in 1057 when he actually dies in a different battle against Malcolm, who is now of age and leading troops, Malcolm III, his injuries from the previous battle in 1054 are attributed heavily to his death. So he was pretty fucked up from that battle, survives another 3 years, rides into some other battles against Malcolm, and eventually dies.
As the prophecy foretold.
So yeah, Macbeth is dead, Malcolm becomes king, right?
Right.
Nope.
Macbeth
has a stepson named Lulach.
Lulach?
Lulach.
That's a fucking cool name.
We always knew you had it in you, buddy.
I feel like that kid's going to get stabbed.
You want to hear some of Lulach's nicknames? You know, Macbeth was the Red King, which is pretty badass. Lulach was Lulach the Unfortunate, Lulach the Simple-Minded, and Lulach the Foolish.
Stupid fucking Lulach.
Yeah.
Dumb bitch ass Lulach the stupid little asshole.
Lulach the fucking idiot, piece of shit. Lulach was either a weak king or the recipient of some pretty bad propaganda from Malcolm's supporters. But either way, he was killed in battle like 6 or 7 months into his reign.
I like the propaganda is like, hey, that kid's retarded. Right?
Yeah. And it's just all Malcolm and his friends.
No, I think he's fucking... I hear that kid knocked his head pretty hard. It's fucking stupid.
Jesus Christ. So... yeah, he's killed like 6-7 months into his reign. And then Malcolm becomes Malcolm III, a.k.a. Canmore, which means big head. Also maybe means great chief. It's a direct translation. Yeah. Big head might mean, good. You're smart.
Name stuff is crazy from back in the day. I just.
But that's also what I'd say if I was making fun of the king too. If I was calling him big head, I'd be
big
like,
head.
No. You're because you're smart and you're great at your job.
It means big great king.
Yeah, big old great dude who knows everything and is so good at his job.
Big head like on your cock.
Orange on a toothpick head ass motherfucker.
I hung out with some.
Looks like an orange on a toothpick.
I hung out with some of my cousins this past week that were visiting, and they had done some genealogy research, which is cool. It confirms that that I've got like Nordic heritage and stuff. Which is pretty cool. So I'm gonna change my whole personality to that now.
Oh God,
I've got like 3% Norway. Okay, so now
start getting a bunch of knotwork tattoos.
Fucking
and
tattooed on my neck, and then I'm just gonna use that as an excuse to beat up people of varying colors.
Mm-hmm. That's the next step. That's step 2.
How do I sign up for this? Okay.
There's a brotherhood I've heard
There's
about.
some sort of a thing.
It's a brotherhood. I'm pretty sure.
I hear something about a $10,000 signing bonus.
Oh my!
So we were talking about our genealogy a little bit, and my cousins on that side, that's my father's side. My grandmother on my dad's side, her family name is Aldrich, Aldritch. So we looked up a little bit of history on that, and it kind of like there are parallel names for that might go into the term eldritch, which is like paranormal or otherworldly, but on the other side also means like maybe like good with leather, which is a different sort of special.
So you hail from paranormal leather workers.
Yeah, this seems eldritch.
This armor is for a ghost.
Eldritch means from like essentially from the land of the elves, which is cool.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so that could be cool. Otherwise, it's just like, kinky, I guess. It either means you're a fairy or a leather daddy.
I'm a leather daddy. An elven leather daddy.
Yeah, but I just like genealogy name stuff like that because it could go either way. You don't know. Who's your daddy and what does he do?
Jesus Christ. So Malcolm is around for a solid 35 years as king. His fiefdom was not all of Scotland as we know it today. We've still got some Scandinavian Vikings in the west and in the north. We've still also got some little independent tribes holding areas of Scotland. So this entire time, we've never really seen a truly unified Scotland. But this is where we start to see this intertwining of England and Scotland, right? Because Malcolm was in exile in England for a while, had the backing of the English king to take back the Scottish throne. Now he's on the throne, and he is betrothed, we think, to Margaret of Wessex, who is the great niece of Edward the Confessor.
Oh, damn.
So how do you get a puppet government in Scotland? Finance the fucking revolution and marry him to my niece who hails from ancient British kings.
Yeah,
right?
That makes sense. They'll probably respect you more too if you let them fuck your niece.
Yeah. They'll think of me like a great uncle.
Yeah.
So we did have some raiding and pillaging, typical Scottish conquest stuff here. This is all Malcolm raiding Northumbria and that sort of northeast of England.
I like that we can yada yada it, but like there's always a village burning in this time period.
By the way, him ravaging Northumbria didn't particularly bother Edward the Confessor. There was some shit after the whole Godwinson debacle and William the Conqueror becoming king, and then he died. But putting this timeline together literally made me want to slip my wrists in a warm bath.
Which is something that would have happened as well in this timeline.
But
one of these characters probably did that.
Probably.
That was the Roman suicide.
His one bath every 6 months. He's like, this one I'm gonna do it proper.
Did you know that the wrist slitting in the warm bath, that's like the Roman suicide?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Well, that and the hemlock. No, that's Greek. That's more Greek.
That was Greek. So there were claims to the throne by like the last remaining member of Wessex.
People say do it in Greek style. They mean
stop. That is gross. So this is all on the Norman English side, Anglo-Norman side, right, in England. So when William the Conqueror dies, there are some claims from like the last of the clan of Wessex. William's son becomes William II, but he's also got a brother who's claiming the throne. It's messy. Malcolm doesn't really want to be involved, so he just decides to like fuck around in Northumbria and sort of push his fiefdom out by a little, right? So he's just taking little chunks of Northumbria like slowly and just like, it's mine now. You guys are all fucking fighting up there, And he has, by the way, like a decent number of Scottish kings before him that have claimed a quote unquote partnership with when William the Conqueror was alive, right, with England, which amounts to what we call like an overlordship, like an English overlordship of Scotland. Malcolm's son, also another Duncan, lives in the King's Court in England on what we've discussed a lot of times. You'd send your kids to other courts. I like to call it hostagecation. So Malcolm avoids fighting some of the previous fights for William to be on the throne in England. Remember, this is a part when like a decent amount of France was English territory, and that's where most of the fighting is constantly happening, is over in France. And so there's this partnership from before. There's this overlordship. Scotland is technically supposed to help in these wars against France, and Malcolm's like, nah, you guys are busy. I'm just going to keep chipping away at your land
Right.
and make my land bigger while you're not paying attention. Right. So I'm just trying to make this all make sense.
Like
right?
you do.
So when William I, William the Conqueror in England dies and William II takes the throne, Malcolm is like, oh, now I'm going to seize even more land because now there's this young idiot who's the new king and they're still fucking fighting.
Stupid fucking idiot.
He's sacking the shit out of Northumbria and moving further south until William comes back from France where he's been fighting his own fucking brother. And William's like, no, we're marching north and we're going to fucking fight Malcolm. So Malcolm kind of bitches out and flees north. And shit's not looking great for him, but they managed to work out some fleeting peace deal with Malcolm, confirming William II now's overlordship, and things simmer down for about 12 years before the peace starts to break down again over the Scots territory in Cumbria, which is northwestern England, right?
That's like
Yeah, that's Cumbia. Appropriate, seeing as how we had a anti-American halftime show last night.
That was the most American shit I ever saw in my life.
Right.
Because all those women have big fat asses and it was great.
I literally had to tell
Seems
somebody
like freedom
yesterday.
to me.
I had to tell somebody yesterday. Puerto Rico was part of the United States since before your great grandparents were born.
That guy up on stage there, he was born an American citizen.
Yeah.
He was born and raised natural.
So they're having some.
You stupid asshole.
So there's 12 fucking idiot piece of shit. So there's 12 years of sort of peace.
You mean you're referring to Kid Rock, of course.
Yes. I'm always referring to Kid Rock.
You know, he's the Puerto Rican native. Puerto Rican native Kid Rock.
American badass. Up jump the boogie.
Up jump the boogie.
Up jump the boogie. What it jump up, I know not. However, it do jump up. So, okay, there are 12 years relative peace. And then that starts to break down over Scottish territory in Cumbria, which is northwestern England, right at the Scottish border. Northumbria is northeastern, right at the Scottish border, right? By the way, chances are that wasn't even really the case. Like William I had granted some land and estates to Malcolm in Cumbria when he came down to England, like a crash at my castle while you're here situation.
Yeah, come on down.
Yeah, he crashed at my other castle. And William II takes over and he wants to build his own shit there and wanted that castle, I don't know, for like weekends or something.
This is my fuck castle.
But Malcolm comes down to like sort it all out and William's like, I'm not negotiating shit with you. And he wants the English barons to decide like, what are we going to do about this? Right. Like Malcolm comes down. He's like, dude, we can just talk this over. Like your dad told me I could use, these estates and castle and whatever. And Malcolm's like, no, that's ours. I want that. And Malcolm's like, we'll have the English barons sorted out, which, of course, which way do you think they're going to vote for the Scottish king? Come on.
No.
So also he might have wanted to give one of these barons a castle. So it's all sort of very like, he's trying to work it in his favor. And Malcolm is like, fuck you wasted my time. And he turns around and goes back to Scotland and gets his army together and comes back to absolutely fuck up Northumbria. Like even by the fuck shit up standards of the time, they went hard as fuck. Which is what ultimately killed Malcolm. Because on his march back through Scotland, after he fucking demolishes Northumbria, he's ambushed by the Earl of Northumbria and mortally wounded.
Yeah, there's one of the things about, in general, Scottish warfare, a lot of ambushes, very guerrilla warfare based, because there's not, in my understanding and my varying studies, there's not a whole lot of open field battle you can really do in a lot of these parts of Scotland because it's all elevated fucking like mountain terrain and shit like that. So somebody's got the high ground all the time. Somebody's around a mountain pass. Somebody's hiding behind some shit. And there's a lot of like run, hide, return, ambush.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Interesting note. His wife, Margaret, you don't typically think of like royal weddings as like, they always seems pretty loveless. They're all like arranged marriages and shit. And it's like, we must produce heirs. His wife, Margaret, died apparently of sorrow 9 days after learning of Malcolm's death.
Damn.
There's also some weird shit when she was later canonized as a saint. And so they exhumed her body to move to like this reliquary. And there's like some weird shit when they exhumed her body, like they were bringing it past like where Malcolm was buried. And apparently like whatever, I don't know, I guess casket or something they had her in, like got so heavy that nobody could lift it.
I thought you were going to say wet.
So they just sopping.
Just fucking dripping.
Just overflowed
salt
with
water.
juices. It was pee.
It's from a different thing, okay?
But yeah, so they ended up exhuming Malcolm III and putting them like together. And I think they're in some chapel in like Italy now or something like that. But yeah, you can still go see him. So that's Malcolm III, almost the longest reigning Scottish king, but that honor will end up going to his grandson, which we'll get to in a moment. Before him, though, we've got 5 of Malcolm's sons and 1 of his brothers that all become king, and none of them last very long, either through battles or deposings. They're in and out pretty fast. Like roughly 30 years after Malcolm III's death, his youngest son, I think he had like 8 kids, his youngest son, David, becomes David I. David's reign wasn't super noteworthy in terms of battles or anything, but it is important to note that he furthered this intertwining of England and Scotland, like we talked about before.
I mean, real fans call him Dave.
He was also sent on hostagecation to England when he was around 10. So by the time he was 16, 17, he's part of Henry I's court. And when the Scottish crown fell to him, like I said, he was the youngest of Malcolm's sons. Henry backs him on becoming King of Alba, Henry I. David did a lot to anglify Scotland. He put an emphasis on creating more autonomous towns around Scotland, monasteries, markets, castles. Like he had all this stuff built. He introduced a lot of Gregorian reforms, which is like religious shit. We don't need to get too into it, but it basically argued for the church to act independently from the crown or any political body. So like the king can't be like to, the archbishop, like tell the people to do this. And then the archbishop just does it. Like they act independently. All the Gregorian reforms were sort of to keep them, which they were still acting on Rome's orders. So who fucking cares? Anyway,
Gregorian reforms were all just that you could only sing in chants.
Yeah. You can only speak in chants. So he adopted a lot of Norman laws from France and practices into the Scottish government, introduced Anglo-Norman feudalism into Scotland by bringing in a bunch of English, Norman, and Flemish settlers, probably with lands and titles in those places. And he established sort of like an English, like an Anglified feudalistic society in these new towns that he's establishing around Scotland.
Which is interesting. It's more of like a cultural encroachment than anything else at that point.
And these things that he implemented really became like the foundation of medieval Scotland.
Yeah.
There was a decent amount of political strife. I think David did a lot of his ruling, quote unquote, of Scotland from England. He really only held a lot of power in that Cumbrian area of the English-Scottish border. There were some civil wars. There was a nephew of his trying to claim the crown. He sent some troops in, they won. Shit was still kind of popping off until he finally pacified everyone by creating stewardships over Scotland. So he started like just making agreements with these sort of guys that were leading troops into battles against him and being like, look, I'll build you a castle, a monastery, a market, a whole little town, and you're in charge of that, right? Just fucking be in charge of that. Look, I'm giving you a come up, brother. And so he sort of pacified a lot of Scotland by just doing it that way, which is how shit stayed relatively calm in this region for whatever duration before some new shit popped off.
And that's the classic.
The Game of Thronesy ass shit that
appease the local royals by giving them lands.
Right.
You shall have lands and titles from which you owe the king an annual duty of 11%.
Right. Yeah. So whatever, he rules for like 11 years. He dies around 68, 69 years old.
And the right of prima nocta.
He send me your to-be wife.
I shall bless this wedding in my bed.
By fucking her. Like I said, he dies around 68, 69 years old. He's succeeded by 2 of his grandsons.
69.
First one, Malcolm IV.
Oh, damn. We got another one.
Nicknamed Malcolm the Maiden.
Oh, Malcolm the little bitch. What's up, gay-ass Malcolm?
Fucking virgin-ass bitch. He became king at 12. He ruled for 12 years. He died at 24. Never got married. The only chick he had as a prospect for marriage refused because she wanted to marry Louis VII. She wanted to marry Louis VII in France, and Louis married some other chick.
Colloquially known as Big Dick Louis.
Big Dick Louis. Yeah, he married some other chick, so nothing.
She's like, listen, Malcolm the Maiden and I are not going to have kids.
We're not even a thing.
Because I'm not trying.
Like, Louis, he's just a friend.
I don't.
You don't have to worry about him.
Honestly, I don't think Malcolm's interested. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, nothing terribly interesting about him. But David's second grandson, William the First, also William the Rough.
Ooh.
Also William the Lion. He's got some stuff to talk about, right? So William's got
William fucks.
Yeah,
Is what I'm saying.
William's got king's blood in his veins. I guess
Big Dick Billy, they call him.
I guess so did his brother Malcolm the Maiden, but his dad was a king in Scotland. His great grandfather on his mom's side was Henry the First of France. His grandfather his great grandfather was Henry the First. His grandfather on his mom's side was some rich, powerful Anglo-Norman earl. And William becomes king of Alba at like 22, 23. He was the longest reigning king of Alba before the crowns of England and Scotland merge, which is where this episode will sort of end. William spent some time with King Henry II in his court. We talked about Henry II a little bit in Royals Part 1. Henry was the one who's just like, hey, Scotland's mine. Ireland's mine. All this bit of France is mine. Fuck y'all. Right?
Scotland,
he's
my land.
Yeah. He's the king that both of his sons ended up going to France to wage war against their own dad. One of those sons was Richard the Lionheart. Remember that?
Yeah.
He's like just such a fucking asshole that both of his kids flee to France and form an alliance to take their own fucking dad down, Richard the Lionheart and John. And then they ended up fighting Richard and John ended up fighting
and
one another.
that's the Robin Hood thing.
Yes, exactly. So while all this is going on, William the Lion leaves Henry's court and establishes a peace treaty with France to fight Henry II. So Henry was such an unlikable piece of shit that both of his sons and William I, King of Scotland, and Louis VII, King of France, are all aligned in revolting against this fucking dude. That's how much of a piece of shit Henry II was. Now, William's got some solid steel balls. I'll grant him that much. In 1174, at this Battle of Alnwick, he has been raiding in support of the revolt against Henry II, right? William is in his encampment, and he's only got about 60 men, and he is surprised by, with a raid of about 400 Englishmen against him and his 60, right?
Hell yeah.
He, rather than retreat, charges into the English troops himself, shouting, "Now we shall see which one of us are the good knights."
Oh, shit.
He was unhorsed and captured by Henry's troops.
Oh, so it wasn't him.
He was not. Taken to Newcastle and then to Northampton and then transferred to all kinds of places. Eventually, he ends up in Falaise in Normandy. Then Henry sends an army into Scotland and occupies it and says, as ransom and to regain his kingdom, William has to acknowledge Henry as his feudal superior and agree to pay the cost of the English army's occupation in Scotland by taxing the Scots. The cost was equal to 40,000 Scottish marks, which I don't know what the value of that today would be, but we can assume with that many fucking zeros at the end in the year 1174, that's a crippling amount of money.
That's a lot, yeah.
So the church in Scotland was also subjected to the Church of England. Like they had to, this is still Catholic.
You're talking
England.
about the English church.
The English church, not the Church of England, not
like
this
thank you for flying Church of England, yeah.
This is pre-Protestantism, so this is still a Catholic England. But so the Scottish church is sort of being lorded over by the English church. William says, okay, fine, you win. He signs the Treaty of Falaise and is allowed to return to Scotland. On August 10th of 1175, he swore fealty to Henry II at York Castle and became his liege man.
Yeah.
Oh, and Henry also gets to pick William's wife because William's not married yet. So
by pick, you mean... Hey, listen, you're going to marry this broad after I'm done with her.
Yeah. He actually chooses the great-granddaughter of Henry I, his dad's great-granddaughter, so I guess his niece, right?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Something like that.
Sounds like one of these characters.
Yeah, so...
He's like, backtrack.
Oh, no, she was the great-granddaughter through an illegitimate line, so it was not a great marriage for William. They had 4 children, only 1 male. William had 6 other illegitimate children. Like we said, William the Rough, he fucks, with 2 other women, and 2 of those were boys.
The women?
No, the children.
Oh.
He had 4 with his actual wife. I think one of those was a boy. 6 other illegitimate children with 2 other women. 2 of those were boys. And as we know from experience, this will end with all types of claim to the crown.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And this all causes a big fucking kerfuffle in Scotland, and a lot of battles ensue, and William has to fight against the Scots in the name of King Henry because he's a liege man now. So he's fighting on the side of Henry II against his own countrymen, which I think if it was me, I'd be like, just fucking kill me, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to fight the people that I'm the king of for some other bitch ass king that I don't even fuck with.
I mean, frankly, most of history come across situations like this, and I'm like, just kill me.
Well, then again, it's not
like I'm going to walk into the sea on this one.
It's not like Scottish tribal infighting is like a new concept. So, I mean, I guess, I don't know. I wasn't there. But in the aftermath of all these uprisings, William does consolidate more of Scotland under the crown, and eventually the Treaty of Falaise is dissolved after Richard, the Lionheart, takes the throne, and he needs money for his crusades, so he dissolves the Treaty of Falaise, which is what sort of put William under Henry II's thumb. He dissolves it for 10,000 silver marks. However, when Richard dies and his brother John takes the throne, John, who was a suck-ass king, Sea Royals Part 1, decides to flex a bit and march a big-ass army to Scotland and straight to William's doorstep. And William is old at this point. He's like 67-ish, right? And John's
like
basically...
extra old for that time period.
Right. And John's basically got his castle surrounded and says, give me a bunch of money, give me your daughters to marry to English nobles, and your only surviving son, the heir to your throne, he's going to marry my daughter, right? And William,
because then he'll respect me.
Yeah. William basically has no choice but to do it. So eventually, as we all must, William dies. He does die of old age. He was like 71, 72. We know the year he was born, but not the month. So he ruled for 49 years, almost to the day. Like I said, longest reigning king of Scotland.
Nice.
Before the unification of the crowns. By the way, why do you think he was called the Lion? Because he was a big dude? Because he was a badass fighter?
We're talking about William the Rough, right?
William the Rough, William the Rider.
Because he fucked like a demon.
He was not...
He had a barbed penis.
He was not a big dude. He wasn't a badass. He wasn't undefeated in battle. He had... It was his flag. He had lions on his banners.
Oh.
Or a lion. He had a lion on his banner. That's why he was William the Lion.
Well,
which makes it less...
That's better than William the Flag.
I see what you did there. Not okay. Not okay, man.
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, you do. Okay, I'm going to try and wrap this up soon because I'm sick of talking about these pasty fuckers. However, I am only halfway done with my notes. So, after William dies, his son Alexander II takes over. He's the one, remember, John surrounds William's castle and says, give me your daughters, give me your son. He's marrying my daughter. So, this is Alexander II, who was married to King John's daughter. By the way, he was 23, she was 11.
Woof.
They never had children. She was dead by 28. He remarried and had a son with a different lady. Doesn't matter. He didn't do anything cool. He dies of a fever on his way to take the Kingdom of Isles.
Good. Fuck that asshole.
The Hebrides and the Orkney Islands. He wanted to take both of them back from the Scandinavians, who at this point have pledged fealty to Norway, to the King of Norway, right? So he's on his way to go, like, basically march on the Hebrides and then go to the Orkney Islands and wipe them all out. Gets a fever, fucking dies.
Yeah.
So Alexander III takes over. Alex III. This is Alex II's son from his second wife, right? He becomes king at 7 years old and sits on the throne for 37 years. When Alex III turns 21, he decides he wants to take up his father's passion project and at least get the Western Isles to fold, the Hebrides Islands, right? He sends a proposal to the King of Norway, Håkon IV, and that's refused. Right? I don't know what the proposal was. Probably, hey, these are ours.
How do you spell Håkon?
Haakan. Håkon. So yeah, he sends a proposal to Håkon IV. That's refused. Alexander is like, well, then fuck you. I'll just take it. So Håkon sails a big ass fleet to the Western Isles, 200 and something ships, parks it offshore and says, now that we're here, you wanted to talk to me, bitch? Right? This was apparently Hakon's like method of negotiation was send a big ass fleet.
Just show up.
Yeah, send a big ass fleet, park off their fucking land and go, hey, I'm here to negotiate. Right?
That is actually, I mean, like, what an effective method.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I'm not here to declare war. We're just negotiating, right?
Yeah. Just don't worry about those. Don't worry about those ships.
You know, hey, that's my personal guard.
Yeah. 200, all 200 and however many of them. Alexander is a pretty fucking smart kid, though. He knows the land. He knows the ocean there. And he knows that autumn is coming and that the seas here are brutal once the autumn storms start blowing in. So he delays and prolongs as much as possible until the weather starts getting nasty and Håkon is sick of waiting. So Hakon's like, fuck this shit. I'm done waiting. And he attempts an attack, gets caught up in a brutal storm, and a battle still ensues. And it's pretty indecisive as to who the winner is. But what's not indecisive is that Hakon's fleet is in bad shape, and he doesn't have any fucking safe harbor. He's kind of stuck out there.
That's a solid
with all
move.
these fucking autumn storms blowing in. So he's like, Alexander's got a big ass army here. We can't land anywhere without getting, we won't have anywhere to recover.
Yeah, so they're fighting and getting fucked up on the ocean because they can't land anywhere.
Yeah. So he heads back around to the Orkney Islands in the north to rebuild, stay for the winter, and then head back to the Hebrides in the spring. But he gets sick and dies.
Good.
So his son Magnus assumes the crown, and
That's a good name.
Magnus negotiated the Treaty of Perth, whereby Scotland would get the Western Isles, the Hebrides, and the Isle of Man, and he gets some monetary payments out of that. The Orkney Islands, however, are going to remain under Norwegian control. Right. So that's the Treaty of Perth, and Alexander III's like, okay, that's fine. So Alexander married Henry III's daughter when he was like 10 and she was 11. They had 3 kids, 1 girl, 2 boys in that order. His wife dies at like 30.
Finally, somebody marries an older woman.
Yeah. His wife dies when she's like 33, 34. And Alexander stays fucking. The quote, this is a quote from the...
It's like, I've been with the same woman for 20 some years. She's dead. I'm going.
Yeah. This quote is from the Lanarcost Chronicle, and it sums it up pretty nicely. This is the quote. Alexander did not spend his decade as a widower alone. He used never to forbear on account of season nor storm, nor for perils of flood or rocky cliffs, but would visit none too creditably nuns or matrons, virgins or widows, as the fancy seized him, sometimes in disguise.
God damn, he just be fucking nuns?
He was fucking nuns and matrons and virgins and widows whenever the fancy seized him, sometimes in disguise.
Showing up in Groucho glasses. All right, who's this? You a nun? Hey, sister.
Orkin man.
Land shark.
Would you like to buy some Bibles? You're a nun. So he's killing it, right? He's slaying the matrons and virgins and nuns.
Just fucking skateboarding around.
Another radical dude. So, but in the 1280s come around, and the 1280s are a rough few years for him, right? For one, in 1281, he hits 40. That's brutal for any of us. Things don't work the way they used to after 40 all the time. But more importantly, in 1281, one of his kids dies, his youngest son.
That sucks.
Also, over the course of the next 2.5 years, his other 2 kids die.
Oh, that's also bad.
The only one I could find a cause of death on was
This is a rough few years, man.
Yeah.
All your fucking kids die
in a matter of 3 years.
That sucks.
Your only 3 kids all die. The only one I could find a cause of death on was his daughter, who died during childbirth. Good news, there's your heir to the throne. Bad news, it's a girl.
Well,
so obviously he was like, it's fine, guys. A girl can be queen and rule. That's no issue at all. Just kidding.
That's the way it is now.
Just kidding. He rushes to remarry, so he could fucking like
fuck. I gotta fuck.
Pump a baby in some chick real quick, right?
I need several wives quickly.
So yeah, he remarries. So the first bright spot in the 1280s for old Alex. One little thing though, Alex is about to die. A couple of months after his wedding, Alex is away on business, but it's his new wife's birthday.
Ooh.
The next day is his new wife's birthday, and fuck magnet that Alex is, he is not about to let meetings with royal advisors stop him from getting back to his fucking fresh out the package wife.
Right.
For some celebrations.
Yes.
You know what I mean? His advisors advise him not to take this trip because it's a long ride. The path crosses a river. The weather was, I guess the best way to describe it is fucking Scottish. Mm-hmm. And
he's just like, shut up, virgins. I got fucking to do.
I advise you to get out of my way. Oh, no. I got to do that in a Scottish accent. I advise you to get out of my way. No, you.
That's ye.
I advise you to fuck off. It's time to get me willy wet. So, yeah, it's already getting late, so it doesn't matter. Alex saddles up and he and his guides head out into the storm. He gets to the next town where apparently a guy named Alexander Le Saucier, who works in the king's kitchen.
Was he a saucier?
I am not making this up. A French guy in Scotland working in the king's kitchen named Saucier.
My name is Alexandre Saucier.
We no, do not take this trip. The weather,
That sounds like a fucking assassin.
The weather, she is très wet this time of year.
It sounds like a hitman. Like, it's like, yes, I'm Alexander Saucier. Would you like one of these grapes? His fucking big fake mustache. Like,
I made this croissant especially for you. So, yeah, he sees the king roll up and he says, and this is a quote, "My lord, what are you doing out in such weather and darkness? How many times have I tried to persuade you that midnight traveling will do you no good?" So he tries to persuade him to stay in the town.
oh, so Saucier and the gang know each other quite well.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. Alex says, "Fuck you" to Le Saucier and keeps rolling with his homies. By the way, Le Saucier was not the only one trying to stop him from being stupid and having him spend the night. But Alex keeps riding home in the storm. At some point, he gets separated from the rest of the party, and they have to go look for him. And they find him, not in great shape. He is found the next morning with a broken neck, presumably because his horse lost its footing, and he fell off of the horse onto his fucking brittle little neck.
Damn.
And so 3-year-old baby Margaret, his granddaughter, becomes the next in line for a throne.
Well, there you go.
He actually did, I think, pump one into the new wife, but she miscarried. I think she miscarried twins.
Damn.
Yeah. So, baby Margaret, next in line for a throne, and we've got a succession crisis on our hands, baby. Scottish leaders actually went to Edward I of England. I'm not even going to remind you which one he was, but he was
the first one.
He was a piece of shit too. So he was the one who enacted the Articles of Jewry. Remember we talked about that?
Oh yeah.
He tried to get all the Jews expelled from England.
Yeah, no Jews allowed.
Yeah. By making it like impossible for them to like trade or like use money on anything. Yeah, that was Edward I. So they go to Edward I of England to ask his advice on the succession, and he said basically let the girl baby run shit.
Yeah, fucking what? I don't give a shit.
So Margaret is set to be 3-year-old queen, but she's in Norway right now,
right.
On another one of these hostagecation situations. And Margaret actually stays in Norway for the first 4 years of being, because there's a regent ruling in her stead.
Right.
She's still in Norway for 4 years because this claim, all these claims to the crown, this sort of succession crisis, a lot of shit's popping off. So they're like, yeah, Margaret, you stay here for a second, right? So things are pretty bleak and stay bleak for a while after Alex III's death. So shit starts to sort of calm down, and they're like, okay, Maggie, let's get you back to Scotland, right? Everything's arranged for her to come back and assume the throne. She gets a sweet ass deal where she gets to pick her own husband.
Hell yeah.
What a deal. Pick your own husband, guys. I don't think you realize how fucking cool that is.
Solid deal.
And here's where we could talk about whether curses are real or not, right? You remember all the bad shit that happened to this dude, right?
Yeah.
All kids die, he gets remarried, he fucking breaks and falls his neck. Margaret leaves Norway in excellent health. By the time they reach the Orkneys in the north of Scotland, she is on her deathbed.
Damn.
She dies about a week after they land in the Orkneys.
Fuck a doodle doo.
Perfect health. And that's not a very far sail from Norway to the top of Scotland.
Man, modern medicine's done a lot.
So if you think shit was popping off before, there are now 13 different claimants to the Scottish throne. And Edward I of England is called in to arbitrate again. By the way, at this point, we've had 100 plus years of English and Scottish noble intermingling pretty much as policy, pretty much officially.
That's the thing.
Policy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to mention, just whatever casual fucking that's been going on since the beginning between English and Scottish.
Yeah.
So some of the names of these claimants are a lot more English sounding than one might expect, right? One of the claimants is John Hastings, 1st Baron of Hastings.
John Hastings of Hastings.
Then there's Floris V, Count of Holland. He's claiming that he's
tight.
I should get that. So Edward sets up a council and they deliberate for 2 years before they make a decision. Now keep in mind, Scotland wants to remain independent, and they sure as fuck don't want no civil war.
Yeah, they want freedom.
So Margaret...
What will you do without freedom?
Margaret, by the way, before her death, had chosen to marry King Edward's son.
Right. He did air quotes right there.
Who was also a child, and the thought was very much that she would be Queen of Scotland. Edward would become Edward II and inherit the English crown. And, but those two will definitely stay separate and independent, right? You've married the Queen and soon to be King of Scotland and England, respectively. But they're going to keep, you know what I mean? This is all sort of toying with merging shit,
Don't
right?
worry about it. It's going to be fine.
Yeah. Edward I is 100% posturing to make Scotland an official vassal of England.
Right.
Also,
He's
Edward
got a
II.
real Vaseline.
Yeah, Edward II ended up being gay, so not even sure how the marriage would have turned out.
Yeah, he also had a real Vaseline.
He was the one. He was the one where they had to send his little boyfriend away.
You get it?
Remember?
You get it?
What?
He said he wanted Scotland to be a vassal. I said, yeah, he's got a real Vaseline. And then he said that his son turned out to be a gay. And I was like, yeah, he's also got a real Vaseline. And that was Edward Longshanks. We're talking about we're in Braveheart territory here.
We are, yeah. I think Edward Longshanks was the third.
Yeah.
Edward II is the one where, remember, like when he becomes king, there was like his little friend that all the other like nobles in the court were like, oh, there's something.
I think Longshanks is the first,
untoward
and then
about maybe,
and then his son is a little gay boy.
Maybe
A bit untoward.
Yeah. And they had to send the friend away, and then the friend came back, and then they ended up like
right.
capturing and torturing him in the Tower of London.
Yeah, what you do.
Yeah. And then there was like another strange relationship with another boy.
Yeah.
Another young man at the court. So, yeah. So like I said, Edward II ends up being a gay guy. And so who knows how this marriage would have turned out, even if Margaret had not done it. So.
You might have still ended up with an heir, but would have taken some effort.
Edward II ended up marrying. I can't remember who he married, but she had a whole plot to overthrow him. Like his fucking wife, because she was like, probably like, he's gay. He doesn't even do. Like, just get rid of him.
Was his wife French?
Get rid of him, huh?
Was his wife French?
I think so, yeah.
Yes.
I think she was. So Edward I ultimately decides to give the throne to John Balliol, Lord of Galloway, who was David I's great-great-great-grandson on his mother's side.
That reminds me of a guy I went to high school with named John Galloway, who was like the fucking worst. And that is a joke that two people listening are going to understand. Fuck that guy. All right,
okay. Cool.
He was a real Abercrombie and Fitch. Don't worry about it. That guy sucks.
Okay. He might be, we've all grown up since high school.
No, fuck him.
Okay.
All right. If he did grow up, his sins will not be forgiven.
All right, dude.
I hope he gets tossed in a river.
Riley's got a grudge for life.
He didn't do anything wrong to me. He just sucked.
All right. So as soon as John takes the throne, King Edward starts treating Scotland as a vassal state and John as his vassal, demanding homage, if you will, undermining John.
You must pay homage.
I won't do it.
That's from something fucking. Is like Boondock Saints?
I don't think so.
There's something there.
So yeah, he's demanding homage to the English crown, undermining John in legal disputes, demanding contributions in costs of defending England, and requiring military support for the war against France. Which none of these things sit very well with anyone in Scotland for long. And eventually in 1295, John signs a mutual support alliance with France and renounces his alliance with England, which is the start of the Wars of Scottish Independence. Braveheart shit.
Oh, yeah.
Right? In fact, John Balliol is beaten and abdicated in 6 months, not physically, well, probably physically beaten too, beaten in battle, and abdicated in 6 months' time, within 6 months of him signing this alliance with France. Obviously, after that happens, King Edward invades. John Balliol ends up locked up in the Tower of London for a while, eventually ends up living out his days in France. He gets released. They're like, you're going to France. He's got some family estates there. He ends up there, right? But when William Wallace is chosen as a commander for the rebellions in 1297, he claimed he was acting on behalf of his king, John Balliol.
Yeah.
Even though Balliol he had already abdicated, he was not ever coming back. He never ends up coming back to Scotland.
Right. William Wallace, big guy, made a belt out of his enemy's skin.
Did he?
Yeah, that was one of his things. Noted for his like savagery.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So the war chugs along for over 10 years before Robert the Bruce claims the Scottish throne. He was one of the original 13 claimants before Balliol was granted the throne. And he was probably second in terms of legitimacy. He's David I's great-great-great-great-grandson. One more great than Balliol, right?
There's another great movie, actually. Chris Pine in... Fuck, what's it called? It's like, I think it might be The King. But it's about Robert the Bruce's battles in Scotland.
Oh, okay.
But it's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, so Robert the Bruce has a lot of success on the battlefield. He fights with William Wallace. He is a fucking Scottish hero to this day. He claims the throne in 1306. King Edward I dies in 1307. Little gay boy King Edward II becomes king and
Little gay boy.
And inherits this war for independence. And Edward II's like, this is not at all what I want to be involved in. But, you know, he's still got soldiers marching and fighting in Scotland. Over the next probably 7-8 years, Robert the Bruce is not only becoming a hero in Scotland and rallying people to his cause, he's also retaking a lot of Scotland's castles and strongholds and expelling English forces.
Robert the Bruce movie with Chris Pine is called Outlaw King. It is actually really fucking cool. There is
The King is a Timothy Chalamet movie, isn't it?
Yeah. Which is Henry V, actually.
Yeah,
interesting.
Which is
it's also a pretty good,
really
flick.
Good movie.
And then there's another Robert the Bruce movie starring. What's his name? Who played Robert the Bruce in Braveheart? I think it's like Braveheart 2, actually.
Oh, boy. They did that?
Yeah, they did. It's supposed to be good. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, so like I said, King Edward inherits this. He's like, I don't want to do this. In the meantime, Robert the Bruce is retaking all these castles and strongholds that the English have held. He's expelling those forces. So this dude in Scotland and England fight for over 30 years for Scottish independence before England finally relents in 1328. They acknowledge an independent Scotland, and Robert the Bruce dies a year later.
Hell yeah.
Like, fought for 30 years, finally gets England to acknowledge, okay, fine, you guys win, you're independent, no big deal. Dies the next year, 54, 55 years old.
What the fuck are you going to do after that? Needlepoint?
Yeah, I don't know.
You're like, you won, you get the news that you won, and you're like, cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to go lay down now.
There's not much information about how he died or from what. I didn't really deep dive.
He died from being tireder than fuck.
Yeah.
He's just like, man, that was a really hard campaign.
30 years of getting his
I'm going to go
beat.
lay in bed and get a maiden to York me for a while, and then I'm going to pass on.
Yeah. Being on horseback, swinging a sword from his early 20s to his early 50s.
Fucking, I've got shoulder problems.
In the 1300s, in the late 1200s, early 1300s. Yeah,
whole
that's
body
what he died
hurts
of.
all the time.
Yeah. He died of.
He died of being fucking exhausted.
Yeah. The day that England acknowledged Scottish independence, he walked into his castle and went, ugh.
Ugh.
And then that exhale just lasted for a whole year until it ended and he collapsed. Yeah, it was a year-long exhale. So the Bruce has a 5-year-old son, David, who becomes David II in 1329. And within 3 years, England is invading again. Why? What do you think, Riley? Why do you think they were invading again?
Probably, I don't know, because the Bruce died and they wanted the shit.
They wanted to restore a Balliol to the throne.
Fucking goddamn it!
They fucking took Balliol off the throne.
They just did that. It's like the whole fucking Scottish independent.
Yeah.
You know, that is
John Balliol's son, Edward.
This is like when I say that like history's a mirror, you know? Like this is like the way that political parties, alliances, fucking like all that kind of shit flip to fit whatever dictated like thing they want. Like they really wanted to put this guy back on the throne. No, they found someone with that name that they could use as a puppet to gain control of Scotland again. Like, that's just all it is. It's like in the United States, the flipping from Democrat to Republican, Democrat, Republican is all just fucking predicated by whatever the fucking moray of the time is.
Yeah. So they want to install John Balliol's son Edward back onto the throne, and for the next 4 years, Edward is crowned, deposed, restored, deposed, restored, and deposed, and eventually settles back in England. David, each of these
just
times,
fucking frustrated as shit.
Like, God damn it! David, the Bruce's son, David II. During this whole time, every time he's crowned, David kind of leaves, goes into exile somewhere,
real fans
gets
call him
more
Dave.
guys, gets more, rallies more troops, comes back. they depose Edward, and then something happens, and then Edward's back on the throne. He's reinstated, and then David runs off and then gets more troops, and then comes back and takes him off the throne, and then Edward gets more guys, and they come back, and then he's back on the throne.
What's the fucking
it's like a Benny Hill.
Yeah, it's that Benny Hill skit where they're just going back.
Just fast motion back and forth.
Yeah, just fucking back and like Scooby-Doo back and forth across the hallway through the doors.
So, like I said, eventually after the last deposing, Edward goes back and settles in England. David is back on the throne. He remains king for the next 35 years. He does a bunch of shit, probably more important stuff than some of the things we've covered before now, but sorry, Davey, you ended up toward the end of the list, so we're pushing
early stuff anyway.
Yeah, he was married twice. His first wife was Edward II's daughter. He never produced any kids with either one of his wives, and he dies of natural causes at 46. So,
well, natural causes at the time was swords, so that makes
yeah. Perfectly natural.
Perfectly natural for the time.
So David's crown passes to his nephew, Robert II, and we're going to skip Robert II and Robert III and James I and James II and James III because nothing was going on with those guys. I mean, it's less important than our last two Scottish royals, which I want to get to. So we're fast forwarding 100 years, 100 and a little years.
Yeah, you got to get a time period in there eventually where like it's like 30 years on the throne of a guy being like, I don't know, 40 cows to this one.
Yeah. It was
100
like,
pigs.
Those two Roberts and those three Jameses, it was just more of the same
just little
shit,
border disputes between farmers and shit. Like, just like give it a rest.
Yeah, raid in Northumbria, that's about it.
Another one of those.
So, like I said, we're fast forwarding a little over 100 years from the 1371 death of David II to 1488 when a 15-year-old James IV becomes king. So 1488 is peak Renaissance, and James is that dude through and through. He's a huge patron of the arts. He's learned in law and literature and science. He brings the printing press to Scotland. He founded the University of Aberdeen.
Oh, King James. James Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it brings the printing press to England.
And the Royal College of Surgeons to the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh.
Oh, that's a good college of surgeons right there.
Yeah. He has beautiful ornate palaces built. He introduces the Education Act of 1496, which introduced compulsory schooling for the first time in Scotland. He's the first to consolidate all of Scotland as we know it today under the crown.
Cool, because the rest of these guys seem like real fucking mud and then die kind of kings. So this one's like, maybe we can learn how to quilt.
Yeah, right. You don't really think of Scotland when you think of Renaissance,
which is interesting because Edinburgh is just one of those beautiful cities.
Yeah. But I mean, you think Renaissance, you think like France and Italy and
Italy predominantly is what I think of in the Renaissance.
This dude had it, man.
Also, I think there's like a medieval times in Orlando. I think about that too.
Yeah. This motherfucker had it. So he's also married to Margaret Tudor, which is Henry VII's daughter. Or I'm sorry, not daughter, sister. Which will very soon bring us to our final destination because we ended the Royals 2 episode on the House of Tudor, the end of the House of Tudor with Elizabeth, right? So yeah, our final destination is the Union of Crowns, but that's still like 100 plus years away. So Jimmy IV is not only a Renaissance man, he is down to get his hands dirty in battles too. What?
Renaissance man. This is funny. This is the Renaissance. He's a literal Renaissance man.
He is. It's fun. I know. You're welcome.
Do you ever watch the? You might. This might be a little after your youth, I guess. But there's a cartoon on the WB called Hysteria that would air sometimes after like fucking Animaniacs. It was like a comedy history show. That's really, we could actually look up some fucking episodes.
Really?
There's pretty fucking cool shit in there.
Never even heard of it.
Yeah, it's actually it was an inappropriate like crude humor for kids that'll get them into history and shit like that. There's like a lot of poop and baby jokes and shit like that. But there was a character on there that was Leonardo da Vinci, Renaissance man, where he was like a vigilante like Batman.
Oh my god,
he'd fly around on his fucking his Da Vinci flying device and shit.
Weird.
It's pretty good.
Okay, so yeah, like I said, he's down to get his hands dirty in battle too. In 1513, Henry VIII invades France, and Jimmy IV here is getting pulled in two directions. Like on one hand, when James IV and Margaret Tudor get married, Scotland and England sign an agreement called the Perpetual Peace, which is kind of laughable considering
still in place to this day.
Considering this entire episode. Perpetual Peace is funny. But on the other hand, Scotland and France signed that Ald Alliance, like 220-ish years ago under Robert Balliol. So James decides to back the French instead of this perpetual peace alliance that he just signed when he married his wife.
Sure, why not?
But not in France. That would be stupid. No, they decide to march 42,000 troops into England while Henry VIII is away battling in France. You're welcome, France. Which brings us to the Battle of Flodden, or Flodden Field. This is one of the greatest Scottish military losses in history. It started with an artillery battle, small cannons. We're in the early 1500s, so we've got those. But the Scottish artillery was shitty. It was hastily assembled. The men were shooting downhill, which I guess they had trouble with. And the English were able to use their light artillery to do some major damage to the Scottish artillery line.
Yeah, you know why they had trouble with it?
What?
Fucking musket balls and shit. Aiming downhill, the shit's just gonna fucking slide out of the barrel.
That's true.
You got fucking like mortars or like small cannon, like fucking you gotta wad them shits in.
Light the fuse, quick! It's rolling, I can hear it. So, the English were using their light artillery to fuck up the Scottish artillery line. So the ground troops attacked with their heavily armored men in the front, so the archers had less success. This actually yielded some success because the English were heavily outnumbered. He marched with 42,000. By the time they got to Flodden Field, they had lost about 8,000 to, disease or desertion. So they had about 34,000 when they got there. By the time they get there, the Earl of Surrey has 26,000. So 34,000 to 26,000, that's an 8,000 man difference.
There's a lot of motherfuckers.
So, like I said, they had some success with the ground troops attacking. And as the English are being beaten back, the infantry pikemen are ordered to go in and start, taking shit out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where this shit goes tits up because we're at a stalemate more or less right now. The Scottish are having some success with the ground troop and the infantry is supposed to be the difference maker, right? Mm-hmm. Running in with fucking pikes.
Classic.
But they didn't foresee that the ground in this field is naturally pretty marshy on the side, especially on the side that they were riding in from. And by the way, it's been raining for days.
Look out for that.
Yeah, so the horses get there and they're like having a bitch of a time trying to cross this like little marsh and get into battle.
Yeah.
So, and pikes they're pretty fucking unwieldy when you're trying to hold a pike with one hand and navigate your horse that's like
big,
about to
heavy,
trip
like
over.
Fucking 8-foot spears and shit. That sucks.
Yeah. So a lot of these guys, by the time they get to the other side, they've dropped their fucking pikes. They're like, I've got a sword or an axe or whatever. We're going to small arms, right? The English in this, they're standing there watching. And they're like, come on, bitch. Because we've got plenty of guys standing here with spears ready for the infantry to come.
Yeah.
Now you've dropped all your fucking spears. You're at a huge disadvantage. So even worse, fucking James sees this. He likes to be on the front, like battle lines. He likes being in the fucking skirmish, right? Mm-hmm. So he sees this and they're like, don't go down there right now until we figure out what's going on. And he's like, nah, fuck it. Follows the same line and goes down into the fucking battle. He's trying to get to the Earl of Surrey, who he's fighting, Thomas Howard. And as the English start to dominate this battle, and start making headway back in their direction, a call goes out to their troops to take no prisoners.
Damn.
A ton of Scottish nobility are killed in this battle.
Yeah.
James IV is killed in this battle, although he'd made it to the very last leg of the battle.
Mm.
He was one of the last men standing, apparently within a spear's length of Thomas Howard.
Damn. That's good.
Yeah.
If you're going to lose, fucking right there.
You could see the fucking whites of his eyes. And he was just staring at him, just fighting the shit out of him.
Because if he's fighting to get to him and he gets
I'm coming for you!
There's this slight digression. In that Chris Pine movie about Robert the Bruce, it's called The Outlaw King.
Yep.
Aaron Taylor Johnson, Craven the Hunter, he plays a character named Douglas. Like his last name is Douglas in that movie. And there's a point where, the fucking whichever king they're talking to or whatever says that he never wants to fucking hear the Douglas name again. He wants to destroy that whole clan. And Aaron Taylor Johnson hears him say that shit. So every time that guy's on screen in battle, he's screaming his name.
Douglas!
Exactly. It's just Douglas!
Douglas! Douglas! Which sounds like he's just crying about a buddy of his. And, oh, God, Douglas!
It's just like reports keep getting back to that king.
That's
That like,
funny.
yeah, some guy keeps screaming Douglas, and he's like, oh. But like, I just picture like that sort of anger, like that, like, you're going to fucking see me.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it happens in the story. Yeah.
He was close. He was close to fucking Surrey, but he died, and he leaves Scotland in the hands of his 17-month-old son, Jimmy Five. James the Fifth. We're not going to talk about Jimmy Five at all because other than to say he started some shit with England again, and that ended poorly too again. And he was killed, leaving Scotland in the hands of his 6-day-old daughter.
Hell yeah.
Mary, Queen of Scots.
Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum.
Mary's life really amounts to, I don't know, fucking her cousin and being on hostagecation for most of the 44 years of her life.
Yeah.
She spent 13 years in the French court of Henry II, hostagecation. While in France, Elizabeth becomes Queen of England after Mary the First of England's death, right? And, you know, you remember Mary
Kate and Ashley. The Olsen dynasty.
What was Henry VIII's son? James, right? He was a James?
Yes.
He gets in, he starts doing a bunch of Protestant, like Henry VIII was really only like Protestant so that he could fuck bitches.
Yeah.
Like, he was still practicing a lot of Catholic stuff. His son
skateboarding, getting pussy, radical dude.
Super radical dude. He really was. He was skateboarding, getting pussy. His son comes in, really starts pushing a lot of Protestant reforms. He dies pretty quickly into his reign.
Pushing a lot of prostate reforms.
Mary the First becomes queen. She's Catholic. She comes in.
You know what that means.
Starts trying to undo a lot of pretty unsuccessfully because that Protestantism at that point was 20 something, 30 years in. And then she dies, and then Elizabeth comes in and she starts undoing everything that Mary, did. Like I said, Mary was not very successful either way, implementing anything. But there are still Catholics in the country. And so Elizabeth becomes queen. Mm-hmm. And all these Catholics that have had Mary for however many years she was queen are now like, fuck. So they start clamoring for Mary Stuart, Mary, Queen of Scots, to become the queen because, I don't know, Catholicism. And because Mary was the granddaughter of Henry II, or Henry VII. No, niece, Henry VII. Margaret Tudor was Henry's sister. I don't fucking know. Anyway.
We got to sing the song. Henry VIII, I am.
Fuck all my wife's household.
And I killed my cousin and I fucked his wife as well.
So in the eyes of a lot of people, she had a more legitimate claim, despite being 9 years younger than Elizabeth. Mary's still only like 16, 17 when Elizabeth is coronated. So
there's like fucking 10 contemporary movies about Mary Queen of Scots. She was like the real hot button historical figure in the 2015 through 2020 for some reason.
Weird.
There's like a shitload of movies. Like fucking Saoirse Ronan does one. I think fucking Margot Robbie's got a Mary Queen of Scots movie. Like there's a bunch of them.
Well, so she marries Henry II of France's son, and she is Queen of France for a time.
Hell yeah.
And his son, whatever his fucking weird ass name he had, Floris we already did a Flor. I don't remember what his name was.
Florian.
Anyway, it was some gay shit. Sorry. It was some ridiculous shit.
It was French, right?
I think so, yeah.
Well, it was some gay shit.
And
Take that, France.
Fuck you. You did nothing to us. So, he becomes the king's consort to, or the queen's consort to the throne of Scotland. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Because either way, she's going to become, or she is the Scottish queen. So yeah, she's Queen of France for a time. This is when a lot of Protestantism is starting to happen in Scotland too. Her husband, the little French Poncy boy that he is, dies of a fucking ear infection. And his brother becomes king. And so she comes back to Scotland, and she seems to really try to let people in Scotland practice their faith freely. Because she comes back to Scotland as the queen. And so she's got Catholics and Protestants as advisors. Some people theorize that this was all because she was eyeballing the English throne, because there's a clamoring for her to be the queen there.
Right.
And she didn't want to alienate the Protestants completely. So Elizabeth is having trouble keeping the Catholics in line because she's Protestant.
Right.
And so maybe she's trying to show, hey, look, you guys are fine. I got Protestants and Catholics helping me out. And everybody in the land is, Protestant and Catholic. Who cares?
Nah.
Right? So a lot of people theorize that she didn't want to alienate Protestants because there's a possibility that she takes the English crown. And there's a decent amount to back that up. For one, she added Protestants to her court that she really fucking hated, including her half-brother, in the furtherance of laws and policies that would, if it worked out the way that she wanted to, would have helped her claim the English throne. Two, she sent ambassadors to England to discuss making her the heir to the throne of Elizabeth. Because Elizabeth didn't want to name an heir because of this whole tenuous situation with Mary of Scots. Remember, Elizabeth never married, never had kids, none of that. So she didn't really name an heir until pretty late into her reign, if at all. I don't even remember. No, she did do an act of succession. Yeah, she did.
Because Queen Elizabeth, that's like the fucking Spanish Armada and shit like that. Yeah. So, no, I don't think she ever actually, she didn't name an heir until very late.
Yeah, she did an act of succession, I think.
Yeah, she was like the virgin queen for the longest time. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
3, she was actively trying to remarry into like a favorable noble situation that would bolster her claim to the throne.
Oh, might I add, virgin queen notably fucked a lot.
Yeah. Well, so did Mary. So did Mary of Scots.
Yeah, it's sort of the thing of this time. Like, I think that's an interesting part of history because it's consistent with current times as well. It's like there's a virtue signal attached to everything. Like, it's kind of like, as a royal, you were expected to fuck people. Like, you're forming alliances. You're trying to like please suitors. You're trying to but like the impression that you give to the public has to be like, oh yes, no, we spent time together. Yeah, as a suitor privately, but it wasn't anything like it wasn't like that.
Privately in my chambers.
Yeah, privately in my chambers, we discussed the political situation
with his stiff cock.
But it's like you're obviously
thrusting
banging
into me
because one, let's just get it straight. You spend the night with somebody.
Yeah,
like you're an adult human being that wants to get boned.
Yeah,
so
usually that's
kind of just what that is.
Usually things lead to things.
And it's bizarre. I don't know. It's bizarre that throughout history, like that's been like oh, no. They didn't do anything though. Like fucking just say that they did. It's whatever. Who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
She's the fucking queen. Like, I'll fuck who I want. I'm the queen.
So Elizabeth actually even tried.
Fuck is the point of being the ruler of anything if you can't even tell people that you bone?
Yeah. Well, so Elizabeth tried to set her up with a Protestant earl, saying that if she married him, she would proceed with naming Mary her heir. Ultimately, she...
What was Earl's last name?
Huh?
The Protestant named Earl?
Stupid. Ultimately, she does not marry this guy. She marries her cousin, Henry Stuart Lord Darnley.
Yeah.
So they're both Margaret Tudor's grandkids. Margaret Tudor was married twice. So one of them is a grandkid from one marriage and the other is from another marriage. So I guess they're like half cousins. I don't fucking know.
Something like that. Some shit like that. It's all a bunch of big incestuous fuckery.
Yeah, this isn't ridiculous or confusing at all. So she and Darnley...
They're all Yorkin and Porkin.
Right? She and Darnley have a child, but maybe it wasn't his because like any good Catholic girl, she was fucking... at least rumored to be. She may have been impregnated by her friend and private secretary, Dave Rizzio. David Rizzio. Hey, I'm your secretary. How you doing?
Hey, Dave.
Hey, you need me to take down some notes or something?
Real fans call him Dave. You ever hear the Frank Zappa song, Catholic Girls?
No.
Well, it's a send-up of the sexual proclivities of Catholic schoolgirls.
Yeah, everybody knows it. Everybody knows the trope. So maybe she was impregnated by this guy, David Rizzio, which is something that Darnley believed possible enough.
Because everybody was fucking Rizzio.
Enough so to plot.
Where Riz comes from.
Enough so to plot with some Protestant dudes to murder him in front of her while she was 6 months pregnant. They stabbed this dude to death.
In front of her?
Yeah, like some Shakespearean ass fucking, like, in the dining hall, we shall stab him when he stands up to relieve himself. She was 6 months pregnant. They fucking stabbed him to death in front of her.
She's the queen.
Yep.
Did she frown?
He's her husband.
Did she frown upon that?
Oh yeah, I mean that strange. I feel like any surprise murder in front of your spouse, would probably put a strain on your marriage.
Wait, she was married to Dave Rizzio?
She was married. No, she was married to Darnley.
So Darnley had Rizzio murdered.
Yes. So she marries Darnley, who's her half cousin.
And Rizzio's last words were, "Oh,
hey, what's going on?
Stabbing me here.
Hey, what's this for?
Hey, I'm fucking eating here. Oh.
Yeah, no. So she marries her half cousin, Henry Stuart, Lord Darnley, heretofore referred to as Darnley. She gets pregnant.
Dog's name.
She gets pregnant. Darnley is suspicious that it's not his, that it's this secretary of hers, her friend and secretary, David Rizzio.
Fucking Rizzio.
And 'tis no babe of mine.
This baby looks Italian.
It's not even born yet.
I can smell the olive oil coming out.
Baby came out with a gold chain on. Baby gave me finger guns and said, "Oh,
it's a Rizzio child. I can see it from here."
Oh my God. I can tell. He's got Rizzio's arm hair.
Hair slicked back.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, I'm Baby Rizzio.
Hey, mama.
Ridiculous. So yeah, he thinks that David Rizzio, so they stab him. Like I said, she's 6 months pregnant when they do this. And there were some other accusations of her over time with some other guys in the mix. Like there are a decent amount of accusations with Mary of Scots being fucking, whatever.
Being fucking.
Yeah, Darnley is eventually murdered also. He is found strangled in the garden of, he was injured or sick or something like that. So he went to like his family estate to feel better.
Ooh, how about this here? Historical accounts and historians, like historian John Guy, suggest that Lord Darnley and David Rizzio had a sexual relationship.
Oh, my.
With contemporary sources noting they sometimes lay in one bed together, though Darnley's motivations for ultimately participating in Rizzio's murder are debated, possibly stemming from jealousy.
That he was also fucking his wife?
Yeah.
You're supposed to only fuck me. Rizzio, no.
See, this is the sad end of thruples.
Right.
That's how it goes.
If only they just,
they just be cool. Everybody wants to fuck Rizzio.
Yeah, open relationship, man.
Damn,
just have Rizzio in your bed with both of you.
Could have been a good time.
Yeah, just Mary Scott seems like she's down to get skewered. We skewered her like a boar.
Chinese finger trap.
Okay, so yeah, Darnley is eventually murdered. He's on his family estate recuperating from something, and the fucking house explodes.
Darnley's recuperating from something?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Boned by Rizzio.
Yeah, right. The fucking house explodes. But he's not even in it. He's in like the fucking garden. When they do the autopsy, he was asphyxiated. He was like strangled to death.
Ah, yeah. There's a cover.
Yeah. I think he got out of the house before the explosion, and somebody was there. I was ready for this.
It was David Rizzio's brother, Johnny Rizzio.
Hey, Vinny Rizzio, how you doing?
The Rizzios say hello.
I blew up your fucking house, but you got away. You didn't get away, motherfucker.
I am going to. I mean, I know. Explaining your own jokes isn't necessarily the best thing to do, but the Rizzios say hello is a Game of Thrones reference. Okay.
The Rizzios say hello. So, by the way, a lot of people were suspicious of Mary for this, but the guy who was probably responsible for the murder of Darnley was a guy named James Hepburn Lord Bothwell.
Lord Bothwell.
Yes, heretofore referred to as Bothwell. Here's why he's probably responsible. He wanted to be
Bothwell.
He wanted to be the king consort of Scotland, and possibly king consort of England one day.
So then it would make sense actually if the queen was like, take care of him.
Maybe, but he wanted to be that guy real bad. So he convinced a couple dozen lords and bishops to sign an agreement to support him marrying the queen. This is like immediately after Darnley is dead, right? And she's single. He gets a couple dozen, like 20 something ish lords and bishops to sign this going, yes, we're going to support you marrying the queen.
His claim obviously wouldn't stand if Darnley's still around.
Well, he's also a Protestant. So this
is more of the Protestant fuckery. Yeah.
She's Catholic. He's Protestant. Who knows what's going on? So in a shockingly quick sequence of events, in April of 1567, he is acquitted of Darnley's murder. So the prosecutor asked for a delay to gather evidence. The judge denies the delay, so they went to trial anyway. With the prosecution had no evidence, so he was acquitted. So this happens within inside of a month, right? He gets acquitted for Darnley's murder. He divorces his wife. He abducts Mary on the way home from visiting her son, maybe possibly rapes her, and has a Protestant wedding with her, all within a month's time.
Gnarly.
So Mary thinks that like everyone in the country supports this, which wasn't the case. But either way, she stays married to him for like the entire 2 months it took before other Scottish lords raise an army and attack them and exile Bothwell and imprison Mary in Loch Leven Castle, which is on an island on Loch Leven. And she is forced to abdicate the throne to her son, who's like a year old, because everybody's saying you had, whether you killed him yourself or you had Bothwell kill your husband, you had something to do with it because you wanted to be with this Bothwell guy. Right. And you guys got married immediately. And she's like, he fucking abducted me. You know?
I don't know what to tell you.
So,
I didn't really have much recourse.
And
here.
really, there's no, we'll get into some stuff that maybe that was the case. But she at least is saying, no, like I was abducted and forced in a Protestant ceremony. So like a lot of Catholics are saying, doesn't count. Yeah. Protestant marriage doesn't count.
Yeah.
Right.
Catholics are big on that. Catholics are very much like, if you don't have it Catholically done,
right, to this day, this day. But like she has to abdicate the throne to her fucking son, who's like a year old, and her half brother, who I said earlier she doesn't like, James Stuart, Earl of Moray, is the acting regent.
Right.
This Protestant guy that she didn't like, but she kept on the court because we were going to do some laws that might have helped me become the Queen of England.
He's just been lurking in lurking here like a jinxie little fuckbag.
Now suddenly he's the king by proxy because
I found myself king.
Yes, because her son is a year old. So
well, that doesn't sound good.
This is yeah. So James Stuart, Earl of Moray, is one of James V's illegitimate kids. Right, and he and Mary, like
Jimmy Stewart,
yeah.
Hello, Regency.
Yeah, they have the same dad. They have different moms. Maybe they fucked. I don't know. There's no telling it at this point. Well, that's a joke. There's no actual historical speculation.
It's safe to assume they all fucked.
But he was one of the people she, like I said, she kept on court to promote this religious freedom or maybe just get a foot in the door for the English crown. At any rate, Mary, imprisoned in Loch Leven Castle, manages to amass 6,000 troops, and they meet Moray's troops in battle and lose. So Mary escapes south to England to seek asylum from Elizabeth, who's her cousin, something like that. Yeah. So Mary expected Elizabeth to help her regain the throne, and
then they fuck.
Yeah. For her part, Elizabeth actually does convene a council to decide if Mary was responsible for Darnley's murder. Mary says that as queen, she refuses to accept the authority of any court, and she's like, they can't try me. I'm not even an English subject.
Right.
So she refuses to attend any of this trial. She does send like some people to represent her, but the big piece of evidence submitted by Moray, Earl of Moray, her half brother, to the court was something called the Casket Letters, which is a cool band name.
That is a pretty good fucking
Casket Letters.
Casket Letters.
Yeah.
Good.
So these are 8 letters in a little small, like silver gilt box, right? Supposedly from Mary to Bothwell. There are 8 letters unsigned. There are 2 marriage contracts, and there's like one, maybe a few love sonnets. They were written in French, and we will never know their legitimacy because they were destroyed shortly after the trial.
Like you do. Trial's over. This evidence is done.
There are some surviving copies.
They didn't have fucking cold case files back in the day. They're like, well, that's done. Make room.
Cold case files 1518. There are some surviving copies. Not the originals, but there isn't even a full set, so who knows? And like some of it's translated weird.
You know what's kind of fun about all this actually is if you were actually in the court of, say, Queen Elizabeth at the time, you still probably wouldn't know what the fuck's going on. Wait a second, she have him killed? I thought that they were lovers. What happened to Rizzio?
Yeah. Where's Rizzio?
He was just here.
He was a good secretary.
He's a temporary secretary.
We knew you not, Rizzio. So a lot of historians think that the letters were forgeries, or that they were maybe letters from a different woman to Bothwell, or maybe they were from Mary to some unknown man. But a lot of historians don't think these were actual letters from Mary to Bothwell. One of the arguments is that the sonnets aren't good enough.
Wow.
Yeah, literally they're like the language and the grammar couldn't be from someone as educated in French, as fluent in French. She was well educated in the French court for years of her life, for like the first fucking 17, 18 years of her life. So Like
She's
she would have
shitty
written
little limericks.
Yeah, she would have written better. There would have been better grammar. It would have just been written better, right? They
I just
were
think like somebody trying to impersonate her writing a fucking like just write some shitty little like slutty limerick. You come back and with some luck, on my knees your cock I'll suck. That'll do it. That'll do it. Just translate that to French.
So they weren't published at the time, so that the general public at least could the rabble could at least decide whether whether Mary's imprisonment and forced abdication were justified. And when it comes time for a decision, most of the commissioners believed that the letters were genuine, right?
In the meantime, the rabble's literally just waiting for somebody to get executed. They're just like standing outside of the castle like, are we going to kill someone?
When will you lop her head off?
Somebody has to
When's
die.
it gonna happen? Come on, Lord, do it.
It seems intense in there. Let's execute someone.
We've been standing around all day.
Man, woman, we don't care. Just
send someone out who doesn't need a head anymore. So Elizabeth concludes the council with the decision that nothing proves anything against anyone. Everyone can go home. That's it. It was all just political theater.
The end.
Elizabeth doesn't want to. Yeah.
There are no casket letters. It's irrelevant. Why are you still talking about it?
We showed you the letters. Don't worry about it.
Those crossed out parts, stuff like it's not a problem.
We redacted some stuff. Don't worry about it.
You saw them. It's done. Okay, don't worry about what was in them. We did it. Go away.
What do you want now? Justice?
Shut
Come on.
up.
There's other stuff we got to do.
Shut up.
Yeah.
We did it.
Have you heard about all these Scots crossing our borders during Mary's administration?
It was Rizzio. It was Rizzio the whole time, and he's dead, so don't worry about it.
Oh, my God. Whew. Boy. Okay, so back on track. Elizabeth doesn't want to find Mary guilty of murder, right? Because if she finds Mary guilty of murder, then she's got to do something about it.
Yeah.
This way, Moray goes back to being the regent of Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
Mary stays here on hostagecation. Scotland keeps its Protestant government, and Lizzie wins everything, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, nothing to see here, folks. Trial's over. Nothing proved anything. Everybody go home. Yeah. So we're getting to the end here. Mary ends up imprisoned, quote unquote, on an estate halfway between Scotland and London and well away from the sea, which was a strategically chosen.
Right. Like you cannot escape.
They want to keep her in England, not too close to the Queen, not too close to Scotland, not too close to escape by boat.
Yeah, literally no escape here.
Right. So I say she was in prison because she had her pick of 5 different estates she could move back and forth willingly from, a staff of 16 plus people, chefs serving her daily. She's not exactly fucking languishing in a cell here.
Right.
She is implemented in a few plots to dethrone England, who still has no heir at this point, but every one of these plots is squashed. And it's like, okay, in 1583, after the second or third plot that Mary may or may not have been aware of, the Queen's secretary introduces the Act for the Queen's Safety, which sanctioned the killing of anyone who plotted against Elizabeth and aimed to, quote, prevent a putative successor from profiting from her murder. So whether Mary was aware of these plots or involved in planning them or just sitting on a fucking estate drooling from both sides of her mouth wasn't really the issue. The issue was that every one of them involves killing Elizabeth and replacing her with Mary. So whether Mary is in on it or not is...
It makes her
right.
She's a chess piece that cannot be taken off the board. Yeah.
Right. So and it's English Catholics, it's the Spanish, the French, the Belgians, Rome, like all of these people are sort of plotting to dethrone Elizabeth and put Mary on the
because
on the
surely she would reward her benefactors.
Right. So Elizabeth has got it coming from all fucking sides. Also during this time, Scotland is having a civil war. Moray gets assassinated, and the Catholics there want Mary back. So shit's fucking bonkers, and Mary's just like going back and forth between these estates, being served hand and foot, and like I'm a prisoner. So
There's the weird disconnect between like the real world and these fucking games that they're playing. It's like in the meantime, she's having foie gras on the veranda.
Right.
You know?
So
oh no, my plight.
Right. So in 1586, Mary is caught red-handed plotting to kill and replace Elizabeth. Through some trickery, Elizabeth's secretary gets Mary to, she's got some letters there at the estate and she's trying to like sneak them out because I don't know if somebody's coming or what.
Secretary Rhonda Rizzio.
She's trying, Rhonda, how you doing? She's trying to move these letters from the estate and they end up in Elizabeth's secretary's possession. And there is a letter there in these letters where Mary gives the green light to go ahead and murder her cousin. Where do we fall on that? Elizabeth.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, caught red-handed. This is her fucking seal of approval. Yeah, kill her. Which she's now being tried for violation of this new Act for the Queen's Safety.
Mm-hmm.
Right? She denies the charges. She says she can't be guilty of treason, again, because she isn't an English subject. She is the anointed Queen of Scotland. And, you know, she's got all these arguments, but they fucking got her dead to rights. And she is found guilty and sentenced to be executed.
Yep.
Still, though, Elizabeth is hesitant.
Fucking anoint this axe.
Yeah. Elizabeth is hesitant to carry out the execution, right? She is worried that it's going to set a precedent, right? You don't kill other nobles for crimes. You kill regular poor people.
Right.
And you certainly don't kill kings and queens from other countries. You just confine them to beautifully landscaped and manicured estates with dozens of servants until they're useful.
Yeah.
That's what we
until
do.
People stop worrying about it.
Yeah,
then you give them you give them smaller, state-related tasks.
Right.
And eventually everyone forgot about it and everything's back to normal.
Right. And then either they become useful for you as a pawn or they die. And then that's how we have a system for this, guys.
Yeah, the system works very well. It's been working in this country for a long time.
So yeah, she doesn't want to carry out this sentence.
If you have to execute a royal, you do it quietly and you turn off all the cameras.
Right, no shit. And then you say that they killed themselves.
They did it.
Also, she's concerned, like, what if she executes Mary and Mary's son James VI, who's now of age and King of Scotland?
Well,
what if he decides to ally with the Catholics and Rome and attack England?
Well, you know what we always say.
What?
You got to kill the kids.
That's true. That is true.
You got to kill the kids.
I will say this Lizzie, she's thinking all the things through.
Well, I mean, Queen Elizabeth of England is noted as being one of the shrewder rulers of all time.
Probably because her mother was a simple lady in waiting and not Henry VIII's cousin.
Right.
It would make sense. Some good diversity there in the DNA.
Not an inbred moron, drooling. Fetch me more mutton.
Jawless cousin from Spain.
She's not all Habsburg.
Yeah. Eventually, there's nothing to do but carry out the sentence. I mean, it just has to be done. So, February 8th, 1587, Mary puts her head down on a block and bang, first blow misses her neck and hits her in the back of the head. Which probably just fucking knocked her out and scalped the shit out of her.
Oh, fuck.
Second blow severs her neck, and almost entirely there's just like a little bit of muscle keeping it on, a little sinew there. Executioner chops it with a third blow, and Mary's dead. There's some other stuff when he goes to hold up her head. Mary's only in her 40s. He goes to hold up her head and finds out she's wearing a wig. The head slips off the wig, and she's got like real thin, short, like gray hair. Like she's completely gray, like just looks real bad.
Well, she's been in captivity for a long time.
Also, there's a story that after she was executed, one of her dogs ran out from under her dress. Like she brought a little dog under her dress to the execution. I guess. Come here, Pippa, my dog. You're coming to my execution with me.
He lifts the head and thunk. And like, oh fuck!
Oh god! And she's got like she looks
she's
like
still blinking. And like,
well, yeah. Somebody said that her mouth was grimacing for like a quarter of an hour after.
Yeah, they do that.
Yeah. What else? Elizabeth, I think, in a move of sort of like plausible deniability, blames one of her like stewards or maybe the executioner, whoever, for doing this without her consent, and ends up like imprisoning him and having a trial and the whole shebang, whatever. I think just to like make it look like plausible deniability, just to make sure like, okay, if James is going to amass armies and come attack England, at least it looks like, I never gave permission for this.
The
nothing ends up happening of it, but
the common practice of beheading in like medieval England
mm-hmm.
And all around the world actually is really interesting because it would be like a lot of nobles would be put to the sword.
Yeah.
So they'd go for like beheading with a sword because it was like nobler.
Yeah.
But not a great instrument to cut a head off with. It's more of a stabby thing.
Yeah.
So it would take like a lot of wax.
Yeah.
Like you need a lot of like hacking on somebody.
Jesus Christ. Oh, they're just screaming because there's no way to not.
100%. that is the reality of those executions.
Yeah.
It's like there are specific head lopping axes with big heavy fucking blades, like a fucking like a maul.
Yeah, shunk done in one.
That's supposed to be done. It's supposed to be measured and appropriate. But then like it would happen more often than not that royals specifically would have like a little more ceremony, and that ceremony would throw off the very simple beheading, and it would be a hack fest fucking bloodbath.
So he was using a sword for that first one where he misses and hits the back of her head.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
which
he's like, oh shit,
does
switch
sound
to the axe.
comical until you think about she's laying her head on this like pillowed block, all dressed fancy and shit. And that first fucking one goes
this is the
head.
sad reality of all like noble things is that like people want there to be this like conclusion that makes sense for like this royal lineage. Like they cut her head off with a sword on it with a pillow, and even she's thinking like, well, this is the end for me, and then the raise that comes down slowly and it's like punk. Fuck! God damn it! Shit, get the axe! Fuck! Thunk! Oh, okay, I got her. Oh, thunk! Oh, fuck! Shit!
Yeah.
Fuck!
Because you have to
get the head.
You have to believe.
What's this dog doing?
You have to believe, as stoic as you can
There's
manage
blood
to be,
everywhere, just fucking spurting. Guys slipping in the blood.
As stoic as you can manage to be for that whole thing up until that first miss with the sword.
That
it all goes out.
The whole crowd goes like,
and now suddenly
she's like, fuck.
Yeah, she's yeah. Because if you're the one, even if you're trying to be stoic, if you're the one, it becomes real as fuck when that first sword scalps the back of your fucking dome.
Yeah,
that's real and that's painful, and you're not going to be stoic anymore.
Yep, and that is the reality really fucks with like mythos shit a lot. History is very, very polished, but like what we like to do here definitely is bring a little more of the blood and piss into it.
Yeah, we like to. Because she also, all that polish off. And,
after you get your head cut off, your bowels loosen. This is blood and shit on the stage.
Did she just shit a dog?
Dog comes out covered in shit.
Pippa!
Guy's chasing the dog, slips.
Come here, Pippa!
Falls, hits the body, body tumbles, pours blood into a small child that's watching an execution. And they go, yeah, like a fucking Gwar concert.
Jesus Christ. Like a Gwar concert. Well, now we are all caught up with everything we did in 2 English Monarchy episodes. And when we do our next installment, we can talk about the Union of the Crowns. Yay.
Yes, that sounds like rubbing dicks together.
Yeah.
Okay, this has been fun.
Oh, has it?
We got to be done. I got to drive.
We are done.
I have to drive eternally.
We're done. And I don't know if we're going to change the intro to this, but if we don't, sorry.
We can do a quick one.
And if we do, then you're welcome.
We'll do a quick one.
Okay. If it's a bad intro, then sorry. If it's a good intro, then you're welcome. Bye.
Mr. Bang, the ball, your dick, banging, bugger, for your dick, the ball, the dang, the ball. It's time to get me Willie wet. much.